Wouldn't you know, as soon as the music started to end, I had to sneeze. Woo! That was a close one. Guys, welcome in for an early edition, an afternoon, a matinee, if you will. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yes, I am early today. I've got some plans tonight that I didn't want to miss. And so I've got to do an earlier show. I didn't want to miss another day. Will not in all likelihood be live tomorrow. The outside chance we might come on mid-afternoon tomorrow, but very unlikely. And so then it would be Sunday before I'd be able to be back on. Then mean a live show Monday and then not another one till Sunday. So you get matinee Baron. That's all you're just gonna have to deal with it. You got to deal with it because we've got a lot to cover. I do not want to wait until Sunday because I have been in constant communication with experts about the little tidbits of information that were in the prosecution's filing relative to the injuries to Charlie Kirk. And I have some really, really interesting information, including from people like professors who study this stuff for a living and know how to go find academic papers on the issue and can point me to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think he was shot with a gun. Period. End of story. So we'll get to that as well. Oh, goodness gracious. Why am I? Oh, I was echoing. Sorry, guys. I apologize. But I one of the things, someone said they can't hear. You clean your ears out. Clean your ears out. One of the things I want to cover though is the video that Candace dropped. I think it was Tuesday. I want to take a closer look at that. I've not had a chance to weigh in on that yet. And I have strong opinions on some things that we can glean from that. So I will look at the video. I will also look at, again, some of the medical stuff from the report. I also had a really interesting conversation with Owen Benjamin today. For those that don't know him, he's a professional comedian and a podcaster and a media personality, and he's one of the most banned people on the planet when it comes to social media. But he is a very interesting character, and he really got my mind spinning. He's one of those people when you talk to, your mind just sort of spins and spins and spins. So I hung up with him about an hour ago. Not that I'm complaining, but it did cut into a little bit of my preparation for this. Oh, speaking of, something I did not yet have the chance to pull up, my opening statement. So I want to get to that as well. The opening is really good. It ties into what we're doing here with the Charlie Kirk case, the massive crowdsourcing effort, the crowdsourced investigation effort that's going into the Charlie Kirk case. But it's going to be a big day. It's going to be a big day. I think definitively when and I have no idea. I've been asked, why did the prosecution drop their motion so early? This is essentially their summation to the preliminary hearing. It wasn't due until September 1, I don't believe, unless I missed something. It wasn't due until September 1, but all of a sudden here we are in the end of July and they're dropping this massive document with all this new information. So we'll talk about that. We talked Monday when we met about the fact that there is not sufficient evidence to demonstrate Charlie Kirk was even buried. Candace touched on that a little bit yesterday, so we may dive into that as well. So, guys, buckle up. We have a lot to cover today. Holy mackerel, we have a lot to cover. A little cap and gowny when we talk about the medical stuff. I have a study I'm going to pull up. We're going to read from it. It's going to be a little cap and gowny, but you've come to the right place. It's a high IQ outfit. So I appreciate you guys accommodating the early start. We will try to keep this show on schedule because I'm assuming at some point this evening the principal will go live, and we'd like to ideally finish before she goes on. So buckle up, get your safety harness, all 5 points buckled. Just come to the edge of your seat. You won't need the entire seat. Oh, we're going to look at some of the Fed slopper response too, but that's kind of a given. But I want to give you my opening here because I think this opening is really tied to what we're doing here. There's precedent for what's happening here. And a lot of people don't like to recognize that. They like to hide the fact that this has happened before. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the opening statement. If you go back to 2014, that's 12 years ago? Statistics show that back in 2014, this is roughly a decade after Adam Curry was sort of credited with starting the first ever podcast. But back then, only about 30% of Americans had ever listened to one. It's kind of weird because right now the number is close to 80%. Podcasts have become a mainstay in American media landscape, but back then it was not. They were new. They were seldom used. Only weirdos sat around listening to podcasts back in 2014. I was a weirdo. You guys were a weirdo. Podcasts were still lagging way behind traditional cable news, way behind traditional terrestrial talk radio in terms of popularity of where people got their news from. People were still reading newspapers back then, believe it or not. We're talking the dark ages of media. Nobody had been able to sustain any kind of long-term success with long-form podcasting. Joe Rogan was kind of the only one sort of getting going at that time, and it was sort of new what he was doing. There was no Tucker Carlson podcast. There was no Candace Owens podcast. Podcasting was relatively new. And that's the backdrop. That's the backdrop in which we were introduced to a podcast known as This American Life, because they spun off a single season of a brand new podcast called Serial, Serial, not cereal like Captain Crunch, but serial like Serial, a series. The first season of Serial transformed podcasting. It transformed podcasting itself, but also the true crime storytelling in particular. That season of Serial was hosted by Sarah Koenig, and in its first season, they spent the entire season examining the 1999 murder of an 18-year-old high school senior named Hae Min Lee. They also looked at the conviction of her ex-boyfriend, a guy named Adnan Syed. And they spent 12 episodes. And over 12 episodes, Koenig meticulously dissected the evidence. I mean, meticulously dissected the evidence. She did interviews, and she cast doubts on the case. And she did it in a conversational, sort of real-time investigative style that sort of took the world by storm. You had these like fan groups that were popping up about the podcast of the new hit show Serial. Again, a lot of people didn't even know what a podcast was. So this was an experiment, and what began as an experiment quickly exploded into a cultural phenomenon. Within weeks, episodes of the podcast Serial were hitting unprecedented numbers, averaging 1 million downloads each. Now, again, Candace hits 1 million just on YouTube alone almost every day. That's kind of a new standard. But back then, a good podcast might hit 30 to 50,000 total downloads across all platforms. Serial all of a sudden was hitting 20 to 30 times that number every single episode. By the season's end, they had amassed tens of millions of listens. Cumulative figures, if you look back, now surpass over 300 million listens and downloads across all platforms. It became the first podcast to win a Peabody Award. It inspired Saturday Night Live parodies. It dominated water cooler conversations at workplaces all over the country. And it sparked endless online debates on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, about whether or not Adnan Syed killed Hae Min Lee. The show single-handedly ushered in a golden age of narrative podcast. And it proved, probably the first ever podcast to prove, that long-form audio journalism actually can captivate a mass audience. And so to understand the series, you have to take a quick look at the prosecution's timeline. So this is what we would call back then the Fed Slop narrative of the Adnan Syed conviction. Back then, whatever they called it in 1999, it was a travesty. And this is what the narrative is. So everything I'm about to say from this point forward for the next few minutes is going to be sort of the narrative, the Fed Slop mainstream narrative of what happened on January 13th of 1999. Hae Min Lee was a senior at Woodlawn High School in Baltimore County, Maryland. She was last seen leaving the school around 2:15 p.m. The prosecutors argued that Adnan Syed, then 17 years old, and her recent ex-boyfriend asked Lee for a ride home after classes. Prosecutors claim that he then strangled her in her car at the Best Buy parking lot about 20 to 25 minutes later, right after they left school. The prosecution argued he was motivated by jealousy over her new relationship. According to the state's theory, Syed then contacted his acquaintance, a guy named Jay Wilds. He asked Jay Wilds to help him move the body. Prosecution used cell phone records from Syed's phone. And what they found was, for parts of the day, Adnan Syed's phone was with Wilds' phone. And it was presented as corroboration of Wilds' story. They used pings from cell phone towers. And the pings placed Adnan Syed's phone near a park called Leakin Park, Lekin, Leakin Park. And the presence at Leakin Park aligned with Jay Wilds' testimony that the pair buried Lee's body at Leakin Park around 7 p.m. that night. Jay Wilds claimed Adnan Syed had confessed to Wilds, and he confessed that he had killed Heyman Lee, and then he confessed to helping, Wilds testified that Syed asked him for help burying the body. Lee's body was discovered in a shallow grave in Leakin Park on February 9th, 1999. It's about 3 or 4 weeks later. Syed was arrested about 3 weeks after that. His first trial ended in a mistrial, but a second trial resulted in a jury convicting him, and this was about a year later. They convicted him of first-degree murder, kidnapping, robbery, and false imprisonment. He was given an unbelievably hefty sentence for the crime. He was sentenced to life plus 30 years, meaning he would never see the light of day again. Not as a free man. But then along comes the Serial podcast in 2014. The Serial podcast forced a closer public and legal examination of the conviction. And frankly, it's the type of examination that should have been done from day one by Adnan Syed's lawyers. Koenig reported ambiguities without declaring Syed definitively innocent or guilty. The podcast never weighed in on innocent or guilt. It just talked about the facts. It had an absolutely enormous reach in the Baltimore area, and that enormous reach turned a local Baltimore case into a national obsession. Listeners began poring over the trial transcripts. They started looking at maps and examining documents. Listeners found websites that still had the recordings. They listened to recordings. They retraced the steps. They went through the timeline every step of the way. And in short, they dissected every detail imaginable. Far more attention than his defense team ever paid to the case. And the attention spurred additional investigations. It even spurred a spinoff podcast called Undisclosed. Undisclosed was hosted by Syed's family friend and also an attorney, a woman named Rabia Chaudhry. And then later there was an HBO documentary series. All of this coverage resulted in tremendous public pressure, tremendous new scrutiny on the case. And that pressure and scrutiny helped revive post-conviction efforts that had previously failed. At the time, Syed was faced with a closed case. He had exhausted all of his appeals. Simply put, he was out of legal options. And the judicial system was suddenly faced with renewed questions. Questions about fairness, the reliability of evidence, investigative shortcomings. There were a number of inconsistencies and flat-out impossibilities that emerged under the intense spotlight of this reinvigorated investigation. Take Syed friend Jay Wilds' account. Wilds' testimony was the cornerstone of the prosecution. In fact, they would never have convicted Syed without Jay Wilds. But under closer examination, his story changed. It repeatedly shifted. From police interviews to trial testimony, he was telling a different story. He can be seen mixing up details regarding times and locations and sequences of events. In audio recordings, you can actually hear what sound like someone giving him direction on what to say and how to answer certain questions in certain ways. There was a mysterious tapping, for example, a mysterious tapping on the table at one point. And then Syed would keep talking after the tapping. It was almost like he was being guided by investigators on what to say. At the time of Syed's conviction, cell phone tower data was treated as gospel proof. It was definitive placement evidence. But by the time the case was being reinvestigated, Cell phone tower data was highly questioned. In fact, the data itself carried disclaimers from carriers, noting that incoming calls were not at all reliable for location purposes. And experts had been employed to repeatedly challenge the use of cell phone tower location data. Then there's Asia McClain. Asia McClain was a classmate of Adnan Syed's. Asia McClain had come forward during the original case and provided an alibi. She signed an affidavit stating that she had spoken with Adnan Syed at the public library about the exact same time as the alleged murder. Unbelievably, Syed's defense attorney, a woman named Christina Gutierrez, never contacted Asia McClain. She never presented Asia McClain's alibi testimony at trial. It's worth noting that Christina Gutierrez was later disbarred after client complaints. Allegedly, I'll just add that in there in case she's listening. But I think it's true. No physical evidence linked Syed to the crime scene, meaning no DNA, no hair, no fingerprints, nothing. Motive, the prosecution's idea of motive rested heavily on a portrait prosecutors painted of Syed as a controlling individual. This portrait was drawn partly from selective readings of Lee's diary. Later reviews uncovered Brady violations. Prosecutors, for example, had withheld critical information about alternative suspects that could have aided the defense. So despite having exhausted all of his appeals, the issues raised by the crowdsourced investigation, spurred on by this podcast, but conducted by the people, eventually led to Syed's release from prison when he was already out of options. In 2022, Baltimore City State Attorney Marilyn Mosby concluded a year-long reinvestigation into the case. At the conclusion of that investigation, she promptly filed a motion to vacate the conviction. The filing stated that there had been withheld exculpatory evidence about alternative suspects. It cited the lack of investigation and presentation of alibi witnesses, questionable phone ping technology. In short, this filing cited a complete erosion of confidence in the case that convicted Adnan Syed. September 19, 2022, Circuit Judge Melissa Finn vacated the conviction, and she did so in the interest of justice and fairness. Syed walked out of prison, a free man after more than 23 years behind bars. Charges were formally dropped on October 11th. However, Hae-Min Lee's brother, a guy named Young Lee, successfully argued that he had not received adequate notice of the hearing. And on that basis, an appellate court reinstated the conviction in March of 2023. Maryland's Supreme Court upheld that reinstatement in 2024, and they ordered a redo hearing while allowing Syed to remain free. And that's when new state attorney, a guy named Ivan Bates, steps in, because Ivan Bates then withdrew the motion to vacate. So Syed took it to the courts under Maryland's Juvenile Restoration Act. It's an act that sort of permits resentencing. If you were convicted as a juvenile and you spent more than 20 years in jail or in prison, you could be resentenced. And so on March 6th, he was. The judge reduced his sentence to time served plus a little supervised probation, and she found that he was no longer a danger to the public. So as of today, Adnan Syed remains a free man. Even though his murder conviction still stands, he's a free man. He works as a program associate for Georgetown University's Prison and Justice Initiative. He supports efforts related to incarceration and, more importantly, to reentry after people are let free. And he lives in Virginia with his wife. And he met his wife as a pen pal, believe it or not, while he was incarcerated. I bring that up because people are acting like the crowdsourced investigation into who killed Charlie Kirk, how and why is somehow novel. It's never been done before. That you just have to believe whatever the state says, and if the state says somebody did it, then the trial's just a mere formality. We just go on with life. Why on earth would you challenge it? The FBI has spoken. The State Bureau of Investigation has spoken. The prosecutors have spoken. There's a mountain of evidence. Well, that That was true too with Adnan Syed. But the reality is, Adnan Syed got a lousy defense. There was a lot of evidence at the time that could have prevented a much stronger defense, and it was ignored. It wasn't investigated. It reminds me a little bit, frankly, of Tyler Robinson's lawyers not calling the servers at Cowboy Steakhouse or Cowboy Smokehouse and asking them to talk, asking them to go on the record, asking them if they did in fact see Tyler Robinson close to 10 p.m. in Panguitch, Utah. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because as a society, when someone goes to prison, we want to know that they did it. We want to know that they're guilty. We want to know that the person that we as a society, because these people are operating on our behalf, we want to know that when we put somebody behind bars, we're confident they're guilty. We want to know that their lawyers have done a good job and investigated all options, all avenues. We want to make sure that the person got the best defense possible. It is frankly a protection of all of us from being wrongfully convicted. And so we will continue our crowdsourced investigation. We will continue raising issues. We're going to raise at least 2 tonight. We're going to continue raising issues and ask, does this make sense? Could Tyler Robinson have done this with a 30-06 from the Losee Center? So let's dive into this a little bit because, yes, these things have been dissected, but not in the way we're going to talk about it tonight or this afternoon. Did I mention why I went early? I've got something to do tonight. I wanted to get this show in this week. I cannot guarantee that I'll be able to do a show tomorrow. I might, but I can't guarantee it. And because of that, I wanted to go ahead and do this. So I want to take you all the way back. This was released on on September the 12th. September the 12th. So Charlie Kirk passed away on September 10th. On September 11th. I'm going to take you back to September 11th. Charlie Kirk passed away on September 10th. On September 11th, we all woke up and there was no suspect in custody. So the FBI starts releasing little bits of information. The FBI starts trickling stuff out, videos, pictures, descriptions. One of the things they released was a video. I want to show you this video. We've seen it 1,000 times, but this is one of the videos that the FBI released that day. Just to orient you, this is the Losee Center up here. We have 4 rows of cars. We have a guy that when we pick up is basically in full flight already from what they promised us was a prone position. And he is running across the rooftop. He's now running behind this little building up here. He's running off to this corner. And we noticed at the time, and we still talked about it when they showed this at the preliminary hearing, that there's not a lot you can tell about this guy. You can't tell if he's white or black. You can't tell if he's Hispanic or Chinese. You can't tell what color his jeans are. You can't tell what color his shoes are. You can't tell what he's holding in his hand. Whatever he's holding in his hand is flopping around a whole lot, not like a gun, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then they show him running off towards the street. So that's just to reorient you on what we knew before the preliminary hearing. Well, the preliminary hearing comes and goes, and we're expecting really good image. We didn't get it. We actually got worse quality image than what we just saw right there. Now, we got more of it. In other words, we got a little bit more before it happened, even though there was like 5 minutes cut or a minute cut out at the beginning and 5 minutes cut out towards the end. We got, I think, 6 or 7 minutes removed from all the footage that they said they had. But we at least did not get a higher quality output. And I'll show you what the court showed us here before we go into, I'm going to mute this guy. I don't want to hear David Hull. But David Hull is kind of talking his way through it. But you'll see this is actually lower quality footage. You will not see unless I show it to you. I do apologize, ladies. You'll see this is actually lower quality footage than we got the first time. Because now you see him running into position, but he's even smaller than what the FBI showed us the first time. He's even blurrier. He looks more like Bigfoot. He looks less like a human being. Now he could be a blob. He could be absolutely anything. We have no idea what's going on. But he's up there and he lies in the prone position and all this, and we still have all these people moving around, and then he runs off the building. And I just show you that to show you, if you were trying to hide the ball, that's what you would do, because they gave us descriptions. They said, well, we see in the video that he climbs over a railing and assembles a gun. Well, they don't show us that part. And then they show it to us so distant that it's just a blob sort of standing there. We just have to take their word for it that that's what's happening. And we just have to sort of take their word for it that but we're also taking their word for it that Lee Harvey Oswald killed John F. Kennedy. We're taking their word for it that 15 Saudi nationals and 4 other people just on their own, without anybody knowing about it, took down the 2 World Trade Centers, Building 7, the Pentagon, and crashed a plane into Pennsylvania. We're just sort of taking the word for it. Sort of taking the word for it that Sirhan killed RFK. We just sort of get in this habit of taking their word for everything. And that's what they're doing here. They hide the ball. Well, along comes the crowdsourced investigation. Along comes, in my opinion, in an honest society, someone we'd give a Pulitzer Prize to, someone we would honor and call a hero that would be on the front page of every newspaper. A woman who's out there standing up to the power structure, taking all the heat that the power structure can throw at her, and still releasing information on a timeline that shows you exactly who we're dealing with. Because who we're dealing with is people who will lie to you, who will show you blurry, distant, what I think is intentionally downgraded quality video, and then say, trust me, bro, on what it shows. Oh, we see him run into position, mate. Well, trust me, he's pulling out a firearm and assembling it with a screwdriver. Yeah, well, Officer Hull, I can't see any of that. That's the best we've got, mate. We can't make it any better. You're just going to have to trust us. He's firing a weapon. Well, okay. And that's when we get sources. That's when we get Candace Owens popping in and saying, I was curious how you'd play this preliminary hearing. I was curious precisely how you would handle this. I was curious if you would show the highest quality images you had. And we can see now actually what was going on at the scene. We can actually see a guy throw out what appears to be a mat or something. That is not a firearm he puts out. Let me go back and show that one more time. It's not a firearm. You can see him unfurl something. I think it's a whoopee. I'll show you what that is in just a second. But then he crawls up on it. Well, if you've ever gone shooting, you'd know the last thing you want to do is shoot off of gravel. Not very comfortable, so you'd want something nice and padded to jump in there. You see him lying prone for an extended period of time here, not really doing much. And then you'll see him get up and run away. And I'm going to tell you, the one thing they did not want us to notice is that he does not have a firearm. There's no gun. It's obvious there's no gun. No one can point to a gun. I've been sitting around since Candace first showed this footage on Tuesday, waiting for some Fed slopper to show me some paused video and with an arrow and say, there's your gun, you big dummy. But now he's getting up and watch this. Where's the gun? There's no gun. There's some blanket flopping around, but there's no gun. You cannot see a gun. It's not there. So she goes forward and says, okay, well, that's the actual moment of the shooting. Let's see if he has a gun when he's running into position. Does anybody see a gun? Can anyone point to a firearm? This is a 42-inch long firearm. It should be sticking out of both sides of his body or up over his shoulder or down to the... You can't run with a firearm and not have it be visible. It's impossible. It's not between his legs. You pause it with his legs open. There's no gun there. Where the hell is the gun? Where is the firearm? Where's the weapon? It's not there. It's not there. Footage like this was available. The quality of footage we're looking at now, probably even higher quality if we're being honest, is available. They have it. It's in their possession. The prosecution has it. The government has it. The defense may or may not have it. But there's no gun. No gun at any point that he's running is there a gun. I can keep pausing it and there's no gun. I want to pause it right there because you see he's wearing something that sort of jumps out. You see he's wearing something that sort of jumps out over him. And I want to show you what's known as a whoopee. This is a whoopee. You can buy it on the whoopee store. This is how you wear the whoopee. You see that? You put it around you and you take off running. And then when you get to where you're going to go, you have a mat that you can then unfurl or lay on top of. This is not unusual for military trained people to have something like this on them if they're going to have an operation. This is not an unusual thing to have. Now, I want to show you this. Doesn't that look a lot like what he has over him? A whoopee? But I don't want to get lost on that. I can't say definitively that's what it is, but that's what it looks like to me. Some sort of poncho, either a hooded poncho or an unhooded poncho. But what you will not see in any of these images is a firearm. There's just not one. You can pause it as many times as you want, as many different places as you want, and he doesn't have one. And then he gets down, he starts crawling, and there's no firearm there either. Now, I did this in my front yard. I'm sure my neighbors called the police. I'm not sure. But I took some rifles out front and I got down on my knee and I held a rifle in one hand and I got down in this exact position. I'll tell you a couple things about it. I'm not the most unathletic person you've ever met. I'm not the most athletic person, but I'm not the most unathletic person. I'm more athletic than Tyler Robinson. I can promise you that. I don't care what sport he wants to play. I'll beat him. I am 46 years old and I will pound him. I don't care what sport it is. Now, he might beat me in Magic the Gathering. He might beat me in Rubik's Cube. But I'm going to beat him in anything he wants to do. Any fitness competition, any sport he wants to play, I win. You want to box? You want to wrestle? What do you want to do, big boy? I will take him out. And I can assure you, when I have a firearm in my hand and I run and then I jump down to my knees and I start crawling, it doesn't look that good. Not initially. After doing it a few times, it got better. I said he had a whoopee, not a woody. But there's nothing in his hand. Because you know how I know this? Because when you're holding a long rifle, now the easiest one to do it with was like an AR platform rifle because they're very balanced and they're kind of compact and you can bring the stock in and they're only about that big, and you could sort of crawl along with it. But even then, the gun is out here. I mean, you have to keep your elbow up to pull this off. You can't do it like this. You have no balance. And if you do it like this, the barrel's up here. There's no way to crawl like that without a rifle being seen. It's impossible. It is absolutely impossible to crawl like that without a rifle being seen. I challenge anybody to go do it. Be filmed from behind, crawling like that with no rifle being seen. A 42-inch long rifle. It's not there. It's not there. Now, maybe he had a smaller gun. Maybe he had an AR platform gun in his hand, but that's not what we're told. We're told it was Granddad's 30-06. A 30-06 is 42 inches long. It's 3.5 feet long. It's as tall as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old. No, I will not show the footage of me crawling around. I saw somebody ask for that. It will not. I will not show that. But there's no gun there. There's absolutely no firearm in his hand. Period. End of story. If there was, you would see an endless parade of Fed sloppers pointing to the gun. You would see circles. Unnecessary were red circles, but you would see red circles. You would see arrows. You would see words across the screen. Granddad's 30-06. Granddad's Mauser. It's not there. It's just not there. And if there's no gun, if there's no granddad's 30-06 Mauser, he was not shot from the Losee Center roof. And if there's some other type of gun, he wasn't shot with a 30-06. Tyler Robinson's no longer a suspect. Send him home. But what frustrates me, what genuinely frustrates me is this footage has been available since September 11th. September 11th. Probably been shown, if I had to guess, to Erica Kirk and her lawyers, if I had to guess. And it was shown in courtroom, apparently, in super high quality, which means all of the Fed sloppers that walked out of there and told you they saw a gun and they saw him pull the trigger, they lied to you. And but for a pregnant mother of 4 working out of her basement in Nashville, we wouldn't know this. And that is an absolute disaster for the criminal justice system. It's an absolute disaster for civilization, frankly. Because again, as a civilization, we elect people. And those people prosecute people on our behalf. They put people in prison. They kill people on our behalf. They take the lives of criminal defendants and they do it on our behalf. And they have known since the day this happened that that guy didn't have a gun. They've known. It is absolutely plain as day. But Baron, not every murder has 4K HD footage. You can convict people in the absence of it. Yeah, you can. That's true. But when you have it and it shows something fundamentally different than you're trying to use and you're trying to tell us happened, then we can't disregard it. It's not like we say, well, we don't need it, so we're not going to look at it. No, we're going to look at it. We have it. If I tell you someone broke in my house and then you look at all my camera footage in my house and no one ever came in, but I'm trying to blame my neighbor for breaking in my house, I can't say, go arrest my neighbor. Trust me, bro. They'll say, well, he's not on camera breaking in your house. Well, he didn't have to be on camera breaking in my house. You don't have, not every home burglary has camera footage. Right, but you do. And you do have camera footage. And you would see someone break in your house. And we looked at the footage and there's no one there. Well, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? A candy cult member? No, guys, this is exoneration. That's what you're looking at. You can't shoot somebody with a 30-06 without a 30-06. You can't. It can't happen. And it's not there. It's just not there. Oh, hold on. I want to show the footage where she plays it all uninterrupted. Where was that? Is that this? It may be this. Let me pull this back up. So we know he doesn't have a gun in his hand at this point. He doesn't have a 30-06 in his hand at this point. He may have a pistol. He may have a shorter rifle platform. He may have something on an AR platform with a collapsible stock. But we know he does not have a 30-06 in his hand. It is irrefutable. Irrefutable. So if he doesn't have a 30-06 in his hand when he's running, he doesn't have one there. And if he doesn't have one there, he couldn't have shot him with it. Yeah, so this is going to show him. So we're going to have to wait a second because he's going to go fleeing in just a second. And when he goes fleeing in a second, we're going to pause it and we're going to show you that there's no rifle in his hand there either. There's a towel or a bag or something that flops around. All right, there. So he's getting up. He's grabbing whatever's on the ground as he's starting to run. He's now picked it up. And whatever is in his hand is right there, that big black thing. They're telling you that's a 30-06. They're telling you that's a 42-inch long firearm. Look at it. It's flopping around. Firearms don't flop around. What they're doing is disgusting. What they're doing is disgusting. When we transition in just a minute and show you the language from the medical examination, I'll show you it's even more disgusting than that. Because I think I'm going to bring something to the table today that's not been discussed publicly that I'm aware of. I actually searched X right before going on air. I almost was late because I was trying to just, if anyone else had said, the credit game plays, if anybody else had said it and then I say it, they're going to say, I said it first. So I just want to make sure no one else has said it first. I don't think anyone else has said it. Here is the new filing that the prosecution, then I'm going to go back and look at the Fed sloppers, but here is the new filing from the prosecution. It has language in it from the medical examiner's report. And I know initially my reaction was the same as others because we all said the same thing. I don't remember this being in the preliminary hearing. And then it dawned on me, oh, it wasn't, because this was the medical examination that they just admitted. And they didn't show. They didn't read from. They had they didn't have anyone from the medical examiner's office in there that could be cross-examined on any of this. And this would have been a very enlightening cross-examination if the defense was prepped for that cross-examination. It would have been very enlightening. I hope the defense is watching, because what we're about to cover may prove that he wasn't shot. Instead, they got it in through a cop. They had a cop say, well, I read the examination and here's what it said. All he did was read it. They didn't even need to ask the cop about it. They could have just admitted the evidence and let the judge read it himself. The bullet also, I'm reading from right here, third line from the bottom. The bullet also obliterated the left side of the C2 to C7 vertebrae and transected the cervical spinal cord. Transected spinal cord, meaning it was completely torn in half. There was no signal from the brain to Charlie Kirk's body. Everything from the chin down was absent. There was a gap. The medical examiner observed a significant portion of Mr. Kirk's cervical spinal cord was traumatically absent. Absent, missing, not there, not damaged, not lesions, not tears, absent. A significant portion of his spinal cord was absent. I can't play the video footage, but I know you've all seen it, or a lot of you have seen it. So I'm going to describe it, and I want you guys to go back and remember it. Maybe pull it up and watch it on your own time. If you remember, immediately after the bang, his shirt comes up. Well, the first thing that happens is his shirt goes out. There's a side view that shows it perfectly. Before the shirt goes up, the back of the shirt goes out. One frame before, you see the whole collar of the shirt stand off of his neck about 4 inches. And when it does that, there's no visible hole. There's no blood. There's no anything. You can see the shirt go back and you see nothing in his neck. That's inconsistent with being shot with a gun in the neck. Then you see his shirt fly up and the Rode microphone come over. The Rode microphone migrates to the same place that the necklace is migrating. They're all and the necklace behind him is going back. So everything's sort of moving back over his left shoulder. The necklace is being pulled that way. The Rode microphone is being pulled that way. Everything's moving in this direction. But the interesting thing is, and this got me on the path towards the electrocution theory when I covered that months ago, because I remember getting an email from a neurosurgeon. And the email said, everybody's talking about his decorticate posturing. And that's where he did this. His hands came up and clenched. He clenched the microphone, clenched his jaws, everything clenched in his body. He got real tense. And he said, everyone's saying that happened when he got shot. And then after that, Andrew Colvette comes out and says basically he was obliterated from C1 to C6. Well, this says C2 to C7, whatever. And the guy said if he had a spinal, he said, I can guess from that he had a complete spinal severing. And I said, okay, doc, what does that tell you? And he said, if you have a complete spinal severing, there is no decorticate posturing. There's no clenching. There's no grabbing your fist. There's no holding a microphone. There's no sitting upright. He said you would nearly instantaneously go flaccid from that part down. Every muscle from that point down, within a tenth of a second or less, would immediately lose all control. Your hands would go limp. Your arms would come down. Your body would slump. Like you would be toast. And if you think about how fast that is on a camera, let's say a camera's filming at 30 frames per second. That's like 1 or 2 frames. Well, if you go back and watch any of that footage, it's really like 1 to 2 seconds, 30 to 60 frames that he's clenched up, holding on to the microphone. And then he slowly lets the microphone out. Everything doesn't just fall limp. He lets that microphone go. It's slowly his hand opens. And the microphone slowly, at first it just drops a little bit, and then his hand opens a little more and it drops a little more. But this is seconds after the fact. And he said, I've watched that footage 100 times. That is impossible if he had a severed spinal cord. It's impossible. And I said, so what do you make of it? And he said, he would have to have something that would cause his body to clench up, something in addition to any kind of trauma in his neck. And he's the one that suggested, he said, has anybody thought that he could have potentially been electrocuted? And I said, well, I actually have. I remember Ali Top Files talking about that before I'd even considered it. And maybe he was electrocuted in some capacity. And so we did a whole show on it, on was he electrocuted? We showed his hands. YouTube did not like that. We had to demonetize that episode because they did not like that. But we saw his hands. We saw what looked like dark spots on his hands. And then Candace releases the footage from behind, and we see even more dark spots on his hands with even greater clarity. We saw the footage of Charlie being taken off after the fact, and he had goosebumps on him. And the guy said goosebumps are consistent with electrocution. So I thought maybe he was electrocuted. And maybe he was. I don't know. I'm not here to definitively state he was electrocuted. I'm not here to definitively state he was hit with some sort of energy weapon that we don't even know and can't contemplate. What I'm here to say is he wasn't shot with a gun. The injuries are impossible if you were shot with a gun. You cannot have a transected spinal cord from C2 to C7 traumatically absent. That much spinal cord missing. Not a little, not like your spinal cord did this, but like it did this. It's gone. It's not there. There's no communication from the brain to the body. The body instantly goes limp. It instantly goes flaccid. You lose muscle tone. You lose the ability to clench, to grip, to move, to hold your hands upright with a microphone in it. You guys have seen it. It's impossible. It cannot happen. I'll show you in a second. I have scientific proof of that, and I'll show it to you in just a moment. But it makes the story even lousier. The story was already lousy. Oh, he got shot with a 30-06 and it didn't go through his neck. Great. I think they released this to say, oh, but tremendous damage was done. There was tremendous force inside of his body. It got down into his lungs and his heart. It got up to the top of his head and his brain. But the bullet just kind of stopped, just like in a cartoon. I want to pull this back up. Kirk suffered other severe injuries, including bilateral. I'm not going to pronounce these words right. You can make fun of me all you want. I noticed that when Candace released these, this information, they went back and made fun of her for not knowing, mispronouncing words. Okay, that's the lowest budget attack I've ever heard. I hate to use the R word. I hate to call things racist, but by God, it looks racist to me. It just does. It just does. And coming from Blake and Andrew, it makes sense that it would be racist. Mr. Kirk suffered other severe injuries, including bilateral, meaning both sides, apical, meaning the top, posterior and intercostal hemorrhages, pulmonary apical hemorrhages and hematomas, multiple disruptions of the thyroid, cricoid, and tracheal cartilages. This is a tremendous amount of damage to the upper part of the lung, to the space between the ribs, to the heart. There's a lot going on in here, including damage to the back of the brain. Again, I go back and say, everything seemed to be pulling this way. Everything seemed to be pulling this way. What it looks like is he was hit with a blast of energy from here to here, pulling everything that way. And not just here. Not just here. Because whatever that energy was allowed him to continue to hold on to that microphone, to continue clenching his fist, to continue to be flexed at the elbows. And you cannot do those things without a spinal cord. I'll show you what I mean by that. Oh, hold on. I got to find it. There we go. There is a study in 2007 by Todd, Taylor, and Gandevia and others. I'll show you the study in a second, but I want to read from it. The study is called Use of Motor Cortex Stimulation to Measure Simultaneously the Changes in Dynamic Muscle Properties and Voluntary Activation in Human Muscles. In other words, if you sever the brain's ability to communicate with the body, what happens to the musculature in the body? Now, it'd be cruel to just like cutting people's heads off and measuring how long it takes them to drop something. You can't do that. That's not good science. But what you can do is you can use stimulation in the brain that simulates a total shutdown of communication from here to here. And they did that. And what they found was pretty shocking. The abrupt cessation, meaning the instant stopping of cortical output and motor neuron activity, meaning the abrupt stopping of the signaling to the body, means that all of the muscle fibers engaged in voluntary contraction, meaning your ability to hold a fist, hold a microphone, hold your elbows up, all muscle fibers engaged in the voluntary contraction plus any additional fibers recruited start to relax within a period of a few milliseconds. Milliseconds, thousandths of a second. Thus, relaxation rates reflect properties of the muscle rather than the ability of subjects to withdraw neural drive as in voluntary relaxation. The average duration. So they even measured it scientifically. How long did it take these people to drop an object? How long did it take them to completely go flaccid? The average duration ranged between 122 and 149 milliseconds. 1/10 of a second, a tenth and a half of a second. That's all you get. And at that point, you don't just start dropping stuff slowly and slowly opening. You go limp. You cannot stand. You cannot sit. You cannot hold a microphone. You cannot clench your fist. You cannot flex your elbows. It's all just bleh, within a tenth and a half of a second. It is a tremendous blow to their story. A tremendous blow to their story. Oh, I got to pull this back up. Where'd it go? Hang on, I'll have to pull it back up in a second. I accidentally closed it. Just so you know, I'm not making it up. I mean, you can go back and find it yourself, but I'll pull it up. Here it is. This is the study. It's all here. It's available for free on PubMed. This is the one a neurosurgeon points to and says, this is your analog. This is what happened. Use of motor cortex stimulation to measure simultaneously the changes in dynamic muscle properties and voluntary activation in human muscles. When you when this happens, what Charlie Kirk did becomes impossible. It becomes absolutely impossible. Similar articles, anal sphincter fatigue. We're not going to read that one, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to read that one. A commonly cited thing. But anyway, you go and you pull the article down and you read it. You can read it yourself. You can check it out. It's there. It's there. And it's not the only one. I was actually given a whole bunch of articles that all basically said the same thing. They measured it differently from time to time. There's one from Katz and Milady, the measurement of synaptic delay and the time course of acetylcholine release at neuromuscular junction. What else did he give me here? Words I can't pronounce with limb and axial motor neurons. They all say the same thing. Corticospinal facilitation of hand muscles during voluntary movement in the conscious monkey. So I guess they did do this with monkeys. But I've maintained that whatever happened to Charlie Kirk was complex. It was at a very high level. And it was designed to ensure 100% death no matter what. It was absolutely ensured to, no matter what, ensure death. We're not going to take the chance that he walks out of there. We're not going to take the chance he wakes up after a good surgery and says, "Woo, that was rough. What was that? What happened? Tell me what I missed." We're not going to take that chance. We are going to ensure death at all costs. We're not going to leave it up to a sniper on the roof because a sniper might miss. Bullets do weird things. People live through weird stuff. I read a story the other day. It was a weird story. I thought about doing an opening out of it. It was a preacher in Idaho. I think he was in Moscow, Idaho, maybe. A preacher in Idaho is given a speech, I think, or a talk about Ted Cruz. This is back in 2016. And a guy walks in and shoots him point blank with a .45 caliber firearm 6 times. 5 times in the body and once point blank in the head. And the guy lived, and he's still preaching like he's still a thing. He served in the Idaho legislature after that. So you can't take a chance. If you need someone to die, you can't take a chance shooting them. I think the best evidence that this was an organized operation is that they did not take any chances. And that they might have deployed weapons that you and I can't even dream of, can't even think of. We don't even have the capacity to know what's going on. We talk about exploding microphones. We talk about the necklace did weird things. Talk about the injury. Now we know a little bit additional information about the injuries from the top of his head to the middle of his chest. There's a lot going on here. But it wasn't a gunshot wound to the neck. There's just no way. There's no way. It wasn't Tyler Robinson. There wasn't a 30-06 on the roof. And if you take those two out of the equation, now you're dealing with something pretty fancy. Because not only are we ensuring he's dead, now we're framing somebody. Like we've got a multi-agency deal going on here. And if you think a multi-agency cover-up can't come up with some pretty fancy technology to kill someone, you're out of your mind. I'll remind people on this Candace footage. The prosecution wanted everything released. The victim's representative, Erica Kirk, wanted everything released. And so anybody complaining about the release can only be taking the side of Tyler Robinson in the defense. Anybody complaining that Candace Owens released additional footage, you're taking Tyler Robinson's side. He was the one that wanted stuff not shown. He was the one that thought it would be prejudicial. It was his lawyers who were moving to keep the cameras out of the courtroom. It was his lawyers that were saying we need to close all the evidence. It was his lawyers objecting to all the evidence being shown at all, introduced or shown. And so Candace did Erica a favor. She was Team Erica that day. I have a feeling she'll be Team Erica again in the future. I have a feeling Erica's going to change her mind on whether or not she wants all this stuff released. But nevertheless, I mean, that's what Candace hinted at. I'll say that. She kind of hinted that, hey, you guys better calm down or it could get really bad for you. Well, I hope it does because they're not calming down. They're now calling for Candace to be jailed, have her electronics taken from her by the FBI. Why? Because she's releasing footage that Erica Kirk wanted released? I want everything out in the open. I want everything disclosed. Why would you be upset with Candace Owens? You guys should be thanking her. You should be thanking her. This is what they wanted. She's on their side on this issue. On this issue, she is on their side. The reality is they wanted their information released on their terms. This reaction is disclosing that they're lying to you, and they know they're lying to you. Because otherwise, they'd be thanking her. You're right. Erica did want everything released, Candace. Thank you for facilitating that. The prosecution and the defense apparently conspired to not release everything. And you did. So we thank you for that. I appreciate your work on this, your hard work on this. You guys shouldn't be threatening Candace Owens with jail. You should be throwing a ticker tape parade in Heroes Canyon in New York City. People should be out there kissing sailors. This is precisely what they said they wanted. This is precisely what Erica Kirk has said she wanted the whole time. This is precisely what Erica Kirk has wanted the whole time. And if it's what she wanted, why are we complaining? Why are we complaining? I want to go back into the prosecution's new filing for just a moment, because they have dropped new Discord messages. New Discord messages. This is, let me see, make sure I've got it right here. Move this over here so I can read it. Here we go. From page 10, the bullet point list of all the different ways Tyler Robinson confessed. It was me. Look at the pictures from the surveillance footage. It was me. I'm serious. What does this tell you? Now, we don't see the give and take. We don't see the back and forth. But when you see Tyler Robinson having to convince people it was him, what does it sound like the conversation was? What does it sound like the nature of the conversation was on the other side of it? Does it sound like his friends believed it was him? Does it sound like the people in the Discord chat believed it was him? It was me. Look at the pictures from the surveillance footage. It was me. I'm serious, guys. Hey, it was me. I'm serious. It's like you walk in and somebody's done something amazing and no one knows who did it. And like the nerdiest guy in the class is like, I did it. It was me. And everyone's like, shut up, Timmy. Shut up. You didn't do this. It was me, guys. I'm serious. I'm serious, guys. I did it. It was really me. I look at that and I think it sounds like they don't think it was him. We've seen this one. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. There's considerable doubt whether that was before or after he was in custody. They did not answer that question sufficiently at the preliminary hearing. The closest they got to identifying the time he turned himself in was a guy, a police officer saying, I heard from someone that I'm not going to tell you who it was, that he turned himself in around 9. Okay, well, that's not very comforting. That's hearsay to an unnamed source. We talk about reliability of hearsay. That's the standard in Utah, reliable hearsay. We'll allow hearsay under Rule 1102 in a preliminary hearing, but the judge gets to determine if it's reliable. Your Honor, is that reliable to you? I heard he turned himself in around 9. Okay, heard from whom? Someone. Was this a police officer? I don't have to tell you. Do you know his name? I don't want to talk about it. That's the quality of the information we were getting out of the preliminary hearing. And then he goes on, again, this is State's Exhibit 16.2, so it sounds like it's the same document. It's the same series of Discord confessions. But after he says, I have bad news for you all, it was me at UVU yesterday, I'm sorry for all this, I'm surrendering to a sheriff friend in a few moments. After he says that, again, look at this, 16.2 at 1, 16.2 at 2. It looks like, to me, it's the same conversation. Why would you lump a bunch of different conversations into the same exhibit? That doesn't make sense. And so he's now having to convince his friends it was him, as if they didn't believe him. If I had a friend who was like, I have bad news. Oh gosh, I need to quit clicking stuff. If I got this message from a friend, I have bad news. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all this. I'm surrendering for my sheriff friend in a few moments. I mean, you either say, man, that sucks. Why did you do that? Or you reach back and say, shut up. It was not you. I'm serious, guys. It was me. Look at the pictures. It was me. I'm serious.
Hey, sorry to butt in, but just for context, it does appear to be from the same conversation. It should be from the Dungeons and Dragons Discord. And just so you know, the first bullet, 16.1 at 9, that matches our PDF pages, page 9, page 8, from those text conversations. So it should be a first and second page there.
Yeah. So Daisy is saying she believes, based on the context, it is the same conversation. It's the same Discord with his Dungeons and Dragons friends. And it doesn't sound like they believed him. I'd like to see the rest of that conversation. And I'd like to know who those people are. And I'd like to know if they were questioned about why they didn't believe him. And I'd like to see those statements. Because he's going on too much trying to convince people it was him. And keep in mind, right after he writes this, he walks into into the sheriff's office and says, I don't want to talk about it. I got a right to remain silent. I know my rights. You're not going to trap me. Nuh-uh. I don't have to tell anyone on earth I did this. I have the right not to participate in my own prosecution. Well, apparently you just begged your friends to believe you that it was you. So the rest of these seem to be statements we already have, but that's a new addition to the statement lineup we have from Tyler Robinson. That's something we had not seen before, just like we had not seen the medical examiner's report. We still haven't seen the medical examiner's report. We still haven't seen it. We've only seen now 2 clips of it, 2 little statements from it. Hold on. We now have the statement from the prosecution. Is the first time they said that he assembled the rifle with a screwdriver. This is in their statement here, that he did some assembling with a screwdriver. Yeah, defendant used the screwdriver to assemble the rifle on the Losee building roof. They cite the transcript, but I don't think that's accurate. I went back and looked at that. It says he appeared to be assembling the rifle. We inferred he was assembling the rifle. I can't remember exactly how they said it in the actual transcript. We concluded he assembled it. I can't remember exactly how they said it, but in the statement on the filing, they said that he did, and I don't know how they know that. Unless Tyler Robinson told you, unless whoever was on that roof told you, because you guys at the preliminary hearing could not testify. And the final piece here that is new information, we'll go to page 13, paragraph 2. Let me make it big enough for you to see it. They acknowledged Tyler Robinson was a terrible shot. We saw that when they showed us the targets out of his place. Evidence also demonstrates defendant was not certain to hit only his target, Mr. Kirk. Defendant loaded his rifle with 4 cartridges, creating a reasonable inference that he anticipated his first shot might miss. Moreover, evidence of defendant's target practice before the shooting shows that he did not always hit the bullseye. We had a good time on this show talking about his terrible eye. This is not a dead eye, guys. This is not a ringer. This guy sucks. Indeed, some of his shots completely missed the paper target. Yeah, we pointed that out, sir. We were well aware of that. And even if defendant had previously calibrated his rifle and scope, he had disassembled the rifle to transport it to the roof undetected and then reassembled it on the rooftop using the screwdriver he left there. One reasonable inference from these facts is that the reassembled rifle would not be as accurate as it previously was when it was sighted while in one piece. No, you guys representing the state or Tyler Robinson? Because we made these exact same points. In fact, it's such a reasonable inference, I'm not sure too many people believe it. Keep in mind, he didn't just disassemble and reassemble the rifle. He shoved it down his pants, allegedly, and walked 0.72 miles to the Losee Center, climbed stairs, went downstairs, crawled around on his belly, grabbed it and did some sort of military crawl with it. And we're supposed to believe none of that changed the sighting except for about that much, left or right. I don't buy that. That's not a story I'm willing to accept. I am unwilling to accept that as a conclusion. That is not only a reasonable inference, Mr. Prosecutor, it is a near certainty, in my opinion. If you disassemble a rifle and put it back together, you better go back to the range. You better get that thing dialed back in. In fact, Jesse on Fire noted, or maybe it was Nate, can't remember, one of them noticed that in the pictures after the fact, the optic wasn't even really attached to the rifle anymore. When did that happen? When did the optic come loose and slide around? You want to talk about not being accurate? I mean, yeah, maybe you could use the iron sights from that distance, but he didn't. They're not telling us he did. It had a scope on it. Now, they use that to say that, well, he obviously endangered other people. He needs some sort of enhancement because he put other people at risk in committing this murder. The way I look at it, that goes towards innocence. That wasn't a 30-06 shot from the roof, if I'm being honest. So let's look real quick. What have our Fed sloppers had to say? Let's just take them one by one here. Fed slopper number one, Benny Johnson, excuse me. Benny Johnson here. What does Benny Johnson have to say about this? Well, he's talking about Trump, talking about foreign wars, talking about Elon Musk, talking about Rand Paul, talking about all this stuff. Yeah. It seems they've gotten off of the Tyler Robinson is guilty incessant train. No, tell me you're shocked that Benny Johnson posted that video. Tell me you're shocked that Benny Johnson sees that and doesn't go, ooh, I should put that on my timeline. That looks great. That looks like a perfect video. We got more President Trump. We got the Eagles. We got $350 million DOJ fraud. I mean, they just completely have gotten off the Tyler Robinson bandwagon. They got caught lying. They got caught telling a tale that wasn't true. And now they're on to scaring people again, because this is how the Republican mainstream Republican apparatus operates. Frankly, the Democrat mainstream apparatus operates as well. And now he's making fun of Fauci. Yeah. So this is Benny Johnson here talking about more Fauci. I mean, Benny, you were one of the key figures here. You were one of the key figures that talked about Tyler Robinson being seen in ultra high definition 4K HD. And if you scan your Twitter feed from the last couple of days, there's nothing on it at all. Instead, we get this op from Fauci. I'll tell you about that. I'll give you my opinion on that before we close tonight. I've got a very strong opinion on that, and it differs a little bit from what I see out there from the mainstream. But this is all he's talking about. Fauci. Fauci got a little Mondami, some Sean Hannity. Okay, well that's Benny likes. That's Benny here. What about undercover agent Jack Posobiec? What about undercover agent Jack Posobiec? Jack Posobiec was one of the Fed slop influencers that came out of there. Now we're talking about tight Senate races. We're talking about the Julian Dory podcast with Joseph. What's his name? Joseph. Can't see because they got the title over it. Joseph. He's a professor now. But nothing about Candace's video that I can see here. You know what these people do? See how they just do these tweet storms? 2 hours. They just tweet constantly so that anything they've said in the past gets buried so far down their timeline they can't be held accountable for it. But this has been one of the worst couple of weeks in a row in the history of the Tyler Robinson investigation. And these guys have abandoned it. They've abandoned discussion of it. They're just gone. Not talking about it at all. So that's Jack Posobiec there, ignoring it. What about Officer Tater Tot, Sergeant Shekels? What are we talking about, Sarge? Well, let's find out. Sergeant Shekels, you should be just thanking Candace left and right. No, we're talking about illegal immigration. We're talking about a guy being shot on a Puerto Rican beach. Some criminal case in Mississippi. Oh, here we go. There's so much more footage. Now we finally got something. So much more footage. Prosecutors showed 20 minutes of crystal clear campus video catching Tyler Robinson's face clearly on the stairs. It's not illegal, sir, to be on the stairs. There's nothing wrong with being on the stairs. There's nothing wrong with driving into a parking garage. There's nothing wrong. That's not illegal to eat at Chick-fil-A. Not illegal to walk around on stairs. The reality is they cannot put him on the roof. They just can't. It's evil watching bad faith actors lie to their audience about what actually happened in that courtroom during the hearing. I was there. Yeah, so they're avoiding, they're misdirecting. They're misdirecting here. Now we're talking about Fauci. Now we're talking about some Judge Mathis, whoever that is. Somebody getting scared at a gas station. More Fauci. Some Senate race in Michigan. Tony Romo getting drunk. I mean, anything to avoid the fact that you got proven to be an absolute on-the-record liar by telling us about this super high-quality footage on the roof where you could see a gun and a shot being fired and you could see it was Tyler Robinson. Anything at all to avoid talking about that. Anything at all to avoid talking about that. But he was on the stairs. Yeah, you're allowed to walk on stairs. You can't be charged with walking on stairs. What about Hebrew Covette? He's one of my favorite people to follow on Twitter because of his frequent meltdowns and total collapse of logic and common sense. Oh, look, they're back in the studio. Oh, Blake's back in the studio. Andrew's still, I believe, in Santa Barbara. I'm not sure where he is in that studio, but again, not talking about Tyler Robinson, They've been punched in the nose and they're running. Nothing here at all. This is another confession from Tyler Robinson. Again, I did it, guys. I did it. It was me. I swear. I don't know why you guys say it wasn't me. I swear. Then he comments on he's quoting from somebody who comments on the medical examination that in me proves it wasn't a gunshot. We could do this for all the Fed sloppers. We have all their timelines pulled up here. I'm not going to run through them all, but we got paralyzed testicles. We've got Lisa Knows Nothing. We got Blake Neff Speed. We got Seth Didlin. We got Spam Allen, Matt Retardio, Louder with Chowder. We got them all in here, guys. Every one of them. And not a single one of them admitted what we all saw with our own eyes, which is that on that rooftop, what they described does not exist. They got caught lying. They got caught lying. They promised us. I know you guys couldn't see it because of whatever, but we were there, and we'll tell you guys what was there. We'll tell you what was there. Let me give you my thoughts on Fauci, since they all seem to be obsessed with it. The whole Fauci thing yesterday was a deep state operation. All of it. He was pardoned already. Trump has now said he's not going to challenge his pardon. The statute of limitations have run on anything he did anyway. So we're going to release his diary. We're going to think that a maniacal madman is going to lay on his bed like he's on a pink bedspread with his feet crossed and up in the air behind him with pigtails, opening up his diary and writing in the Dear Diary, I was on a cover of New York Times today. It was a flattering piece. I've given you my thoughts on COVID, but I'll summarize them briefly. COVID was a deep state operation. It was a deep state operation. It was a CIA-run operation in order to cover up the fact that Anthony Fauci had recreated the H5N9 flu or H7N9 flu, whatever it was, one of these old flus from the earliest 20th century that ran roughshod over the entire globe. And they got caught, and they were going to get exposed. because not only did they recreate it, they bragged about it. They bragged about recreating it. They find some frozen bird in Alaska from 100 years ago. And inside this frozen bird, they open it up and they examine it and they find this very virulent flu. And so they do what any normal person would do, right? Take it back to the lab and make sure you can recreate it so that if it ever gets out, it devastates the planet again. Normal people would probably throw the bird on a funeral pyre, make sure it burns up and doesn't harm anybody ever. Most people wouldn't take one of the worst bugs that's ever been unleashed on the planet and make sure we have extra copies of it. That's not all they did, though. They publicized this. This is not me being a conspiracy theorist. They put this like in the journal Nature or Lancet or something. You can go read it. I'm not making this up. I'm not going to take the time to go find it and pull it, but it's out there. Everything I'm saying is fact from this point forward. They go and they find this virus. They come back to the lab. They make sure they can revive it so that it's able to infect people. But that's not enough. They then go and publish the code so that anybody can go recreate this virus in their own lab. They go publish the code for this virus in again, a respected health journal. Now I'll speculate again, because this is like 2012, 2013. This was all done in the United States. In 2014, this virus is unleashed in China. Did we unleash it in China, or did somebody else recreate it using the documentation that Anthony Fauci gave them and then they unleashed it? We don't know. But this virus begins running rabid all through China. It's killing all their chickens. Like half of their egg-laying chickens are dead. If you want to know more about it, a guy named John Cullen did a great series of YouTube videos on this. And he cites the record. Like, he shows the evidence. This is not conspiracy theory stuff. The only thing that might be a conspiracy theorist is we purposefully put it in Chinese chickens so that it would destroy them. That's the only part that's a conspiracy theory. The rest of it's just fact. But this thing's running rampant in China. It's killing all kinds of chickens. I believe it starts running rampant in the United States. If you remember a few years ago, they start just destroying chicken flocks. They just annihilate in this bird flu, and they start just avian flu, and they start destroying flock after flock after flock. Whole chicken houses, 10, 20, 30,000 chickens, that kill them all. They go to the next house, kill them all. Go to the next house, kill them all. And then all of a sudden, people start getting a mysterious illness a few years later, as if this thing has jumped into people and is now transmitted person to person. At the time COVID came on the scene at the end of 2019 and into early 2020, the United States was undergoing one of the worst flu pandemics we've ever had. It was circulating quietly, but hospitals were completely overrun. You don't believe me? You could go look at the headlines. Go look at the headlines from December of 2020, January 2020. Hospitals were completely overrun with flu cases. Not the first time it's happened. It's happened a couple years before that. It's relatively common, actually, in the United States that hospitals get completely overrun with flu cases. But they weren't testing positive for flu. They had this illness, a flu-like illness, and in fact, a lot of people, if you talk to them, it's more common at the time. I mean, memories get stale. But a lot of people will swear they had COVID around Christmas of 2020. A lot of people will. The sickest I've ever been. I couldn't get out of bed for days. I was down for 2 weeks. People were just swearing that they had COVID before COVID was known to have shown up on our shores in February of 2020. And the reason is because this virulent flu that wasn't showing up on flu tests. And people will say, I know I had to be COVID because I went and got a flu test. I didn't test positive. It's because they weren't testing for this type of flu. They weren't testing for this. I think it's H5N9 or H7N9, whatever it was. They weren't testing for that particular type of flu. And so you went in and you got your normal flu test and you didn't test positive. They don't test positive for every known flu ever. They test positive for a few of them. They test for a few of them. And so this virulent, nasty flu-like virus is just crushing people in the United States, killing old people left and right, just wiping out nursing homes and everything else. And that's when COVID showed up. And COVID gave them a convenient excuse to completely do away with the flu. All of a sudden, everybody had COVID. All of a sudden, everybody had COVID. Nobody had the flu anymore. In fact, if you look at the CDC chart of flu deaths, it basically goes to zero from spring of 2020 through like fall of 2021. There are no flu deaths. Nobody got the flu. Everybody got COVID. And so, I kind of stole this hypothesis from John Cohen. So if you want to see his work, it's great. You can go watch it on YouTube. I think he's on YouTube as John E. Hoover, not Johnny, but John, like John, then space E, space Hoover. But it's good stuff on COVID. It's a little dramatic at times, but it's good. It's good material overall. But what I think happened was, at that point, they didn't want to acknowledge that they had recreated and then unleashed a virus that was going to be responsible for millions and millions and millions of deaths globally, because that's obviously bad for business and it's bad for freedom. And so what they did was they said, quick, what can we release that we have in the tank that will spread like a cold? So it will mimic the flu, and we can then layer that disease on top of it, and then we can test everybody for that. They'll all test positive, and we can tell them that's what they have. And that was COVID. That was the coronavirus. And so they released that. That is what I think Fauci is covering up with this song and dance in Washington yesterday. That's what they're covering up. Yes, they were doing gain of function research on coronaviruses. Yes, they were doing all this stuff. And maybe it was a particularly nasty bug, and maybe some people did die from it. But I think the reason it got released was not a lab leak. So what was the big headline yesterday? He knew it was a lab leak the whole time. He was lying to us. That's called a modified limited hangout. That's a modified limited hangout. Yeah, it was a lab leak. But why did you leak it? You leaked it to cover up the fact that you had this virulent flu spreading that you guys caused. And you ordered it leaked in order to provide cover so you didn't get caught for the flu bug you guys had already released years before. That's what I think happened. I genuinely think that's what happened. And so I watched this whole thing yesterday, and I watched all of the Mockingbird media run out and run to Twitter and run all the TPUSA goons, and everybody runs out. And they're like, hey, that Fauci, he's a bad guy. He knew it was a lab leak the whole time. He got caught lying. I mean, maybe him getting caught lying was just to solidify in people's minds that it was in fact a lab leak and it did come from China. We didn't have anything to do with it. I swear. It wasn't us. None of these sicknesses were made in the United States and released on the population. No. This was a lab leak. The Chinese did it. We need a reason to go after them anyway. Their economy's getting a little too big for their britches, if you don't mind me saying. And so why don't, Fauci, you take one for the team, release your diary. Do we think he really kept a diary? Release your diary. That's just cover. It's a modified limited hangout. That's what happened. I am confident that's what happened. And so the whole Fauci thing yesterday was a cover-up so that our intelligence community had adequate cover for having had no participation in this whatsoever. When the reality is they almost certainly had operational control over the entire thing. I got to show you something. You're going to love this. We got new hats up on the merch site. RealBaronPodcast.com. We got a bull butter hat. Look at that beauty. That is up. It's added. It is ready to go. Only $19. Very high quality. Beautiful hat. Beautiful hat. And we got the Bad Cop hat. You guys love the Bad Cop hat? Everybody wanted the Bad Cop hat? So we put up the Bad Cop hat. That's a Daisy design there. She invented the Bad Cop hat. And there it is right there. So you can go grab one of those. That's only $17. I'm telling you, we price these things so low. Nobody's selling hats for $17. Nobody. So you can jump on realbaronpodcast.com, click the merch button right there at the top. It'll take you to the merch section. And then if you want to see all of the material, go over there to the right-hand side and click view all. And you can scroll. You can find the bull butter hat, the Bad Cop hat, as well as all the rest of the merch as well. So it is a high IQ outfit, and we've got a lot of the stuff up there, constantly adding new stuff. So check back early and often. My favorite piece in this is the RBP hoodie. Where is it? I wear that RBP hoodie a lot. Where'd it go? It's in here somewhere. There it is right there. I got this bad boy in purple. Check out how good that looks in purple. Boom, baby. That's a good looking hoodie, if you do say so myself. Hey, you know, if I do say so myself. So check that out as well. Guys, I appreciate you joining me for a matinee edition. I'll roll through some of your comments. Daisy, if you see the principal put up a time, let me know so that I can kind of gauge how long we have here to roll through comments. I'm at work, sneaking my earbuds in. I don't want to miss a thing. Don't want to miss a thing. That was an Aerosmith song, right? A great song. Go Max, my B. I always pray over you and Candace and all the other truth tellers. Please, thank you. We need it. We all need it. Everybody needs prayer, but I sure appreciate it. I genuinely do. Wish I could send more. I cannot begin to imagine the amount of time and work that goes into preparing for these shows, and your delivery is the best. Christ is King, and Jesus loves you all. Jesus loves all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Christ King indeed. Thank you, Anik. Number one fan from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Just want to say thank you for all the work and dedication you put in for us. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Christ is King indeed. OMG. Just found a really interesting video on YouTube. The Salt Lake Tribune. What we saw. Not sure if you've seen it yet. I have. I saw it when they put it up and downloaded it. I have a copy of it somewhere. Bomb dog fun. Oh, we're still doing the bomb dog fun. Daisy, we need a bomb dog. The problem is we don't know where the stuff is. I would love to know where that Tahoe is or that Yukon that they dragged him out of there in. Would happily send a bomb dog by that. Black hoodie and battle braids. Oh, no, you got that wrong. Red hoodie, no braids. Someone check on Benny. Someone check on all the Fed sloppers. They're having a terrible couple of weeks. Guys, the preliminary hearing was terrible for them, and they know it. That's why they went on the attack. What they needed out of that preliminary hearing was to be able to sit back and go, we're done here. We're done here. There's no smart person out there that can still possibly believe Candace Owens or Baron Coleman or any of these other kooks. Nobody almost tried to combine goons and kooks, and it almost came out wrong. Nobody can believe these people. So we're done here. We're not talking about it anymore. No, it's not what happened at all. It's not what happened at all. Now, they did get strangely quiet after she dropped the video. They got strangely quiet after she dropped the video. Hey, B, thank you for all you do. And most of all, thank you for being like a big brother to Candace and having her back. You're truly the light we needed for Candace in this fight for truth. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I'll say this. Nobody likes to go into battle alone. And to the extent that we're fighting for the same cause, I'm happy to support in any way I can. I'm happy to support her in any way I can. I honestly don't think there's enough praise that you could heap on her for her courage and integrity through this entire process. I really don't. I think what she's done is remarkable, and if we had an honest press, it would be one for the history books, genuinely. But Baron Christ is King, indubitably. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what indubitably means. Things are getting spicy. God bless. They are indeed. Is that a rifle down your pants? You're just happy to see me. How could a gun have minimum DNA after being down his pants? First, about a mile in the 80-degree heat, wearing dark, long clothes. Love you guys. Did you get my emoji? I don't know about the DNA thing, man. The whole rifle down the pants thing doesn't make sense to me. I basically refuse to believe it. And I don't know how. I mean, they even admitted that the optic very likely did not hold a zero the way he was abusing it. So why are we accepting this? Why are we accepting this narrative? Candace mentioned a MYS flash. What's MYS? On the video she showed off the man on the roof, could that be the flash in the trees in that video you showed a while ago? No, it couldn't. It's the timing's all wrong. I've heard a number of theories on what that flash could be. Everything from a windshield in the highway in the distance to some sort of a device maybe that he holds up. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's important to the story to know what it is because I don't see an obvious 30-06 gun. I mean, Is it possible sometimes you see a little straight piece here and there while he's running? Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you pause it just right, maybe you see. I'm not saying he wasn't holding anything. I'm saying he wasn't holding a gun this long. That's about how long, maybe that long. That's about how long they are. I know you can't see. It's two-dimensional screen. That long? I mean, they're that long.
I almost look the barrel like eye to eye on that.
Yeah. You must not be very tall.
I'm 5 foot, but
okay. I had no idea how tall you were. But that as soon as you said that, I was like, you can't be very tall. You're not 6'8". I know that. But yeah, no, I mean, trust me, I did that crawl with a few different rifles, and the AR platform, if you collapse the stock and you hold it right around the lower receiver, like put your hand right on the lower receiver and you hold it and you do that crawl, it's still going to stick up out here. It's still going to, the stock is still going to stick up down here, and you don't see that. But if you have a long gun, like a 308 or longer, not there. It's not there. Not there. And if it was, they would be showing it to us. If it was there, they would be showing it to us. Someone on Valhalla VFT swears you were out doing lateral claws on your lawn yesterday morning. I don't buy it. Any footage to settle the debate? Oh, I did. It happened. Were they watching? Do my neighbors watch Valhalla? That's funny. The Stu and Andrew debate was very interesting. Andrew had a hard time pronouncing Fort Huachuca, almost as if he was given talking points, IMO. So I watched that debate. I had to watch a replay of it because my boys had baseball that night. But I did watch it. Here's what I learned in that debate. Their entire case rests on the text messages. And we knew that. You cannot try this case without Lance. And you, in my opinion, you can't prove Tyler wrote those text messages. At least not the way they've shown them so far. So to me, they don't have a case because that's all he kept citing was the text messages. Oh, he admitted on text. Oh, he admitted on text. The other thing I realized is they don't want to defend the Tyler Robinson narrative. I really tuned in expecting a good debate because Stu's very, very smart, very well spoken. Stu has a mind. I don't encounter this often. Stu thinks in paragraphs. He doesn't think in sentences or phrases or even words. He thinks in paragraphs. Like when he talks extemporaneously, I heard him talking on an X space the other night. And he answered a question and he gave a topic sentence to the answer. And then he gave like 3 or 4 supporting sentences and then he concluded it. And I thought, is he reading from a script? How does he do that? Like no one thinks that way. He thinks in paragraphs. He's very smart guy. Andrew did not want to have a discussion about Tyler Robinson. Did not want to have a discussion about Tyler Robinson. Andrew has been begging for attention. I mean, like a kindergartner at the big boys table, right? Like trying to listen to me, guys. I have something to say. And he'd been all over. Debate me. And now we know why, because he doesn't want to talk about Tyler Robinson. He wants to try to force you to go back and think about everything you've ever said. Well, that's fine, but nothing I said is on trial. Nothing I've said or Stu has said or Candace has said or anybody else has said is on trial. What's on trial, the only thing we know that we could settle with facts, with evidence, is what's happened in the preliminary hearing, is what's happened in the court filings. And that can't be defended. I mean, it's so bad. Their case is so lousy. The only thing you can say is he confessed by text. That's all they've introduced. They've introduced nothing to even put him on the roof. Oh, he was seen on campus. Maybe he was seen on campus. I mean, a guy in a red shirt was seen on campus, but let's even assume that's him. It's not illegal to go into a parking garage. It's not illegal to go to Chick-fil-A. I don't think anyone's denying he was in Orem. So how do you put him on the roof? There's only 2 ways that they've been able to put him on the roof. The DNA on the screwdriver, which anyone could have put there, and the confessions, because the video sure doesn't put him up there, and the confessions. The confessions via text to one of the shadiest people who they would not even put up in person because they don't trust him, obviously. They trust him. They just put him up they trusted David Hull. They trusted Officer Bagley. They trusted Falmina. They let them testify. But the one guy your entire case revolves around, you're not going to let him testify? Doesn't show a lot of confidence. Doesn't show a lot of confidence. And so the case is indefensible. He can't defend it. So he tries to like filibuster. No, you explain this. You explain that. No, we're not here. Hey, none of that's on trial. The one thing that's on trial is whether or not Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. That's it. That's the only thing on trial. Hey, Baron, love the show. This is all I can afford to send you from Nigeria. Well, if in Nigeria, I get a lot of emails from princes that are millionaires. So maybe go find one of them. All they need is $500 from me so that they can send me $1 million. I'm kidding. I heard Nigeria is beautiful, by the way. I asked somebody one time, what are the most beautiful places you've ever been? And Nigeria was one of them. And it kind of shocked me because we don't in our media, we don't get a beautiful picture of Nigeria. But then as they were describing the landscape and the different water features and trees and, all that stuff, it just hurt us. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Said hands down, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been on earth. This is a well-traveled individual. One of the most beautiful places I've ever traveled on earth, Nigeria. But yeah, thanks for checking in from such a beautiful place. Love you, Baron. I'm going to add the Baron there. Go Max from Cincinnati. Thank you for that, by the way. It's a very kind contribution. I just realized why Blake Neff was running at Blake Sneff speed. He was patient 0 for the cyclospora outbreak. Oh, he had the green apple trots from your number one fans in Hutto, Texas, and another Carolina dog family. We love our Jerry. Go Max. Christ the King. Jerry? You have a dog named Jerry? I'll allow it. Matinee Baron for the win. I've rather enjoyed the matinee. This is not. It definitely compresses the time in which you have to prepare for a show. But we had all yesterday, and weren't able to put the finishing touches on it before the end of the night. So we booted it to today and just said, we'll do a matinee. I can't do it tomorrow night. We'll do a matinee. Bubba Baron, can we get a hallelujah for the early show today? Thank you for all you do. Christ is King indeed. Maybe we'll do one of these occasionally. I didn't know people would like it. I wondered if anybody would show up. Because, your normal crowd is an evening crowd. I wondered if anybody would be here in the afternoon. Matinee B, still my intellectual crush. Jesus with you. Christ is King indeed. Well, I'm glad to know that the afternoon did not diminish the mystique. Hey B, if the video footage clipped and or other evidence would show TR wasn't acting alone, would his defense avoid it too if their strategy is focused only on proving his innocence? Christ is King indeed. I think the defense would ignore any evidence that tended to put him at the scene of the crime. I would if I was his lawyer. I don't want my client on that roof. I'll tell you that. RB, we missed you and Daisy yesterday. Keep going, Max. Jesus loves you, and so do we. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Hey, Baron, I sent you an email titled Opening Statement Idea that would clear up a lot of questions in all caps. Sorry. You could have given it to me right there. I would have been much more likely to see it. Went to a pet store in our town yesterday, and they greeted us with welcome in, and I replied, welcome in, welcome in. Did they know what the hell you were talking about? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm already here. You can't welcome me in. That's funny. Thanks for sharing. Valhalla had a very interesting assessment last evening of the video Candace showed on Tuesday. I watched portions of it. He's a sharp guy. There's no doubt about it. My husband introduced me to Owen Benjamin's work a few years ago. He's brilliant. I love this crossover. We love the way Owen Benjamin thinks. Yeah. I love the way Owen Benjamin. He's a sharp guy. We had our conversation ran the gamut. We talked about everything. I mean, we talked about we talked about everything from farming to AIDS and everything in between. Got the grandbabies down for a nap just in time. Ghoulie, Grandma? You're a ghoulie? I'm gonna read that in the light most favorable to the commenter. Big fan of Owen Benjamin. He's usually about 5 years ahead of the mainstream. That's why the wizards hate him. I like how he points out the wizards. I like how, here you can see the wizard. Yeah, I always picture him like a nature narrator. You're watching two honey badgers doing battle. He's like, here the honey badger. That's the way I read his wizard stuff. Here you can see the wizard. Wondering if you followed the Reckless Ben Lego scandal. Only briefly. How he accidentally uncovered huge corruption in Utah. I'm aware of that part of it. And the judge involved in the scandal is none other than Tony Graff. I'm also aware of that part. That's about all I know. I know a little more than that, but not much. Just putting in my vote in case you want to know. I know you don't. I like this time slot. That is all. Christ is king indeed. Duly noted. I can work some matinees in. If we have a show ready to go by early afternoon, I don't mind firing up the old YouTube. Gosh, B. Nate Valhalla proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. Tyler on the building was not in the place, the FBI said. Is yesterday live? Please watch. I don't know that I 100% agree with that. Well, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I did talk to Candace about that today, and I think he was in the right spot. I think Nate maybe. I think watch the rest of that video because Trigger Smart came in and did a really good job of explaining it. Not to down Nate. I mean, he's doing what we all do. Sometimes you follow a lead and then you get there, you're like, you move to a different direction. Watch Stu Peters' debate. You're right, useless. It's like trying to explain the color blue to a blind man. Just want to shake them and say, wake up, oh sleeper. Oh, blue to a blind man. So you agree with me that that Helen Keller wasn't blind, or that she wasn't the one writing that stuff, one or the other? Because Helen described color with flourish. You've stated concern for the life of TR, LT, and others. Yet podcasters say they're holding back information. Help me understand why. What if someone else is unalive before all that information is revealed? Love you. Christ is king indeed. I think until Judge Tony Graff rules that there's probable cause to send it to trial, Tyler's in no danger. A dead Tyler right now would only make TPUSA and the federal government and the Utah government look even more suspicious. But once they rule that there is probable cause to determine Tyler Robinson did it, and they will, they'll rule that way. They'll send it to trial. There's no way Judge Graff's blocking this. I think there's a case to be made he should, based on the evidence. But I'm a realist. I know how things work. I think at that point he becomes in grave danger. So I encourage people to get information out ahead of that date. Finally, I catch you live from Cape Town, South Africa. It's 9 p.m. over here. This week didn't disappoint. Go Max. Christ is king indeed. Well, thank you. I hope it didn't disappoint. Thank you. Implications of cover-up scare me. Same. God's time is 2 hours ahead of California, but I made it. Christ is king indeed. Oh, a nooner for you out in California. Well, everybody loves a nooner. A noon matinee broadcast of the Real Baron podcast. What we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Your head out of the gutter. Hey, Baron. This is my first live watch, but I haven't missed an episode since you were on Candace. This chat is wild. Oh. Sorry about that. Please give a shout out to my friend Ashley. Thank you for everything you're doing for Charlie. Go Max. Christ is king indeed. Ashley, I hope you're watching live from wherever you live. I loved This American Life, and Serial covered corruption policing in Cleveland, Ohio. Serial did several good podcasts. I believe they were the ones that did that podcast of the guy in Alabama. He was like a hat guy or a clock guy maybe. And it was just a wild story. It was about who killed that guy. It was nuts. That story was crazy. Thank you for your work. The Latin community don't know about all this. I want to start making videos, but I'm 44 and never done it before. You think it's a good idea? Christ is king indeed. I encourage everybody who has any inclination whatsoever to make videos to go ahead and make them. Understand it's going to be a long road and success likely won't be immediate. And, Sam Parker calls me the 15-year overnight sensation. I've been in broadcasting a long time, podcasted for a long time before it caught on. And I was out there broadcasting to 30, 40, 50 people at night, and it was fun. We had a good time. Chat was not as wild and active, but it was still fun to do. And you learn a lot along the way, and it's nice to make all your mistakes when no one's watching anyway. You don't want to learn to ride a bike at Tour de France, right? You want to figure it out on your own when no one's looking. So it's nice. I mean, so I encourage you if you have that inclination. Now, as what you said about the Latin community doesn't know about all this, I had a conversation yesterday with a college student at UVU. Was curious. This is a college student who had been very involved at Turning Point USA chapter at UVU. We talked for a long time, over an hour. And towards the end of the conversation, I said, so what do people on campus make of this? And he said, well, the TPUSA chapter is like 80-20 that Tyler Robinson did it. That's pretty low if you think about it. As much effort as TPUSA's put into establishing this narrative, their own people, 1 in 5 of their own people at the campus where it happened, don't believe Tyler Robinson did it. That's pretty low, I thought. And I said, what about the regular walking around student? He goes, oh, none of them believe it. I said, really? He goes, no, nobody believes it. What makes you think? He goes, you talk to people, you ask them about it. Nobody believes Tyler Robinson did it. He said, UVU is just not set up for it. Like you wouldn't do it here. A random person wouldn't just walk on campus and do this. It doesn't make sense. I thought that was pretty telling. Thank you for your work. Oh, I just read that one. Lateral crawled at Blake Neff speed to make it to this early live stream. Go Max Jesus Reigns. Hey, then you got here just in time. Because Blake Neff speed is fast. That's fast. Did you hit him with the Heisman like Blake did? Over-exaggerating is very suspicious. When Erica told us that she had 0% learning curve taking over, we knew she's not working on the same goals as Charlie Kirk. That's a good point. A lot of stuff she said doesn't make sense. I recommend going to the Mountain Valley Store Museum in Hot Springs. Started in 1871. Doctors prescribed it. Elvis requested it at his shows. The king of rock and roll drank goat water? Really? He was taking care of business in a flash, hydrated by goat water? This is not a product placement. They give me nothing. I make nothing out of it. But I get it. It's multi-platinum goat water now. This is multi-platinum goat water. Good evening, sir. Watching live from Scotland. Been an explosive week of new revelations. Surely the net is closing and justice is coming for Charlie Kirk. I think it's, we still don't know who killed JFK. But, the investigation, the crowdsourced investigation, the public interest realized quickly it was not Lee Harvey Oswald. And I think that's where we're headed. Hello, Baron. I'm your number one fan in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. Go even Maxa. Christ is king indeed. I don't know how you guys talk up there. It's just what accent I went with. Do you have a number one fan from the 305? If not, it's me. Where's that? 305 area. Oh, I used to have a 305 number. That's funny. I doubt we have a number one fan down there. I'll allow it. You can have it. I don't know. Doesn't Clint Russell live down there? He lives down there somewhere. He might be the number one. Might be. I'm sure you get more handsome each episode. Must be the 4K. Are you more confident now that justice really is possible for Charlie? I pray the truth is revealed and Charlie can rest peacefully. Yeah, I mean, I grow in confidence with everything we discover, honestly. My wife would burn Rogan episodes on CDs and mail them to me while I was on a particularly austere deployment to Afghanistan in 2013. Time flies, my B. Christ is king indeed. Burning CDs. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. We used to burn mixed CDs. I thought that was so high tech. Did you see the clip of Tyler Boyer on Charlie Kirk Show? Tell story how Mikey McCoy is brought in as Charlie's assistant and handler. Yes, he said handler. Jack Posobiec realizes his slip up and tries to interrupt. I saw that in 4K. I guess they broadcast in 4K. I saw it in high definition. It was at least 1080p. After months of watching in the early hours of the morning, beyond excited to be watching it live in daylight hours. Highs from Wales. Uck. We love our people in the Uck. We're big fans of the Uck. You guys got like your 13th prime minister in a week. Love Baron and Red. Go Max. Kristen Critter. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Do you like metal music? Maybe you'd like my band Wisher. Steel sharpens steel, inspired by Proverbs 27:17. May more folks be inspired to be better by better friends. Thanks for your educational output. I went through a metal phase, I guess, or the 80s and 90s had music with guitars and stuff. Now it's all like weird music, but during that era, kind of metal reigned supreme. You had Motley Crue and Metallica. Now those are different types of metal. I don't know what you play. And you had, others. Slaughter, Winger. Actually, Winger wasn't really metal. I guess maybe. Tesla. So there were some. I went to a Warrant concert. Is that metal? Warrant. I went to an Aerosmith concert. I don't know if that's metal. That's more blues rock. Yeah, maybe. I'll check it out. Wisher? Yeah, sure. I'll give it a listen. One of two. Vinny Politan of Court TV is paying attention. Who is that? I'm looking him up. Vinny, is it my cousin? I've never seen. Oh, I have seen that guy. Those are older pictures I first looked at.
My mom loves him.
Oh, she's a big Vinny guy?
Oh, loves Vinny. She thinks she loves him. She watches Court TV like all day.
How about that? Okay, I'll allow it.
I'll have to if I find that clip of him saying that or something, I'll definitely send it to you.
Oh, I gotta read the rest of it. Oh, that's all. Oh, is there a 2 of 2? Hold on, who was that? There's no second one. Yeah, there's no second one. Well, thanks for trying. Maybe she intended to have a second one and then changed her mind. No way. AWC, Mad World, and Mood Goddess. Oh, yes, we've got them all present for the matinee edition. Everyone's present for matinee. I listened to This American Life and Serial religiously. Highly recommend. It was a well-done series. The people are more powerful than they think. They are, and that's why they want to shut us down. That's why they're calling us crazy. They saw what happened in previous crowdsourced investigations, like Karen Reed. There was a big crowdsource component of that. But Serial, I think, is the pristine prime example of the Adnan Syed case. Oh, there's your ticket. Attorney Mark Garagos doesn't believe the slop. Thank you, Baron and Daisy. I believe that. Mark Garagos is a sharp guy. Why? Oh, you pulled that up. You pulled that up. Okay. I was like, where did that come from? Hold on. I got to figure out where I was. Now I've moved it. Oh, there we are. The more info that comes to light, the more the Fed slop narrative falls apart. That's true. Info is their enemy. It's quite vindicating, and I think the real truth is closing in. Number one fan in Pahrump? You and Candace are the only ones I trust at this point. Praying for both of you. Opening statements are my favorite. Well, good. It takes me a long time to put those together. Great to see you live at this hour. Baron Finland has joined the room. You keeping up. Oh, we're big in Finland. The Finns love us. Yeah. The Finnish people love us. Kimi Räikkönen, big fan. He's from Finland, right? I think he is. Is he from Finland? Or Sweden? He's from one of those places up there. They're all the same to me. You're on one big island, one big peninsula. This morning I watched a show from November and you said something like, no one wants to listen to me talk for 4 hours. I think you have to revise this statement. Keep going, Max. Crisis Kicking D. Did I say that? Oh, gosh. Well, Mr. Barron, all those leads that lead to nowhere but had to be followed are finally building up to a closure of sorts. Thank you for all your work. Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time when you're investigating something. You look at something and you follow it for a little while and you're like, it's a dead end. But you learn something from it. You at least rule it out. Charlie Kirk's iPhone detected an accident and called 911. You're stating that as a fact, and we don't know that as a fact, but that is a good suggestion. I might have missed why you aren't on regularly now, but why? Are you giving our queen her glory this week? I only missed yesterday. I never do. Rarely do Tuesdays. Every now and then I'll do a live Tuesday. I was on Monday. I did a member show Tuesday. I missed yesterday. Yesterday's the day I missed, and then I'm on today. And I can't, in all likelihood, can't be on tomorrow. I may be able to sneak a show, but I doubt it. We'll see how tomorrow unfolds. But yeah, I mean, so I've only missed one show. The level of betrayal from Andrew and Mouseface. Mouseface, really? We're going with Mouseface now? I'll allow it. It's mind-blowing. It's also how come Megyn Kelly, a supposed attorney and friend, doesn't have any questions about the case. Weird. Oh, also, how come Megyn Kelly? Yeah, we've talked about that. Great show. I've given my opinion on that several times. I don't know the bottom line is I don't know why. I'm just bringing popcorn for everyone. Good. Thank you. Oh, that's Daily Freddo. Hey, chocolate theory girl. We had Daily Freddo on, Cassia from Daily Freddo on one of the member shows. So if you're a member, go back and watch it. If you're not a member, join and go back and watch it. It was a great episode. She was fantastic. That was a great conversation. Check the Up and Vanished podcast. Tara Grinstead case, the investigation of the podcaster and public attention, led to an arrest after 12-year cover-up by local officials who buried early tips. Oh, imagine that. They got their finger on the scale. Up and Vanished. That's interesting. I'll check that out. New South Wales, Australia, 5 a.m. start. Thanks, my B. Breakfast with Baron. Early breakfast. Such a nice little surprise to have Baron on early. Thank you. Appreciate it. Did the footage that Candace showed straighten your belief that the alleged shooter was carrying a towel when he jumped off the roof? Poor Charlie claimed in bed with Satan, climbed in bed, I think is what you're trying to say, with Satan's bride, in my opinion. Thank you for all you do, Christ is King indeed. So I had speculated a lot of things he might have been carrying because the original footage was so blurry. That footage did help me that he might have been carrying a towel, but it also could have been a whoopee. So I don't know for a fact what it was. I don't know. We may have to see. We have to wait till the trial till higher quality footage comes out of like the descent off of the roof. I think would be telling whether or not he had a firearm or a bag or a towel or a whoopee or what is he holding in his hand. If we had higher quality image of that, that would be helpful. Perhaps higher quality image of when he lands and runs across that grassy knoll right there. That might be helpful as well. But again, unless Candace has that, we won't see that until trial. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. No accusation. Okay. Since SpaceX IPO, no more missing scientists. I'm sure it's a coincidence. That's weird. But Baron, I pray God will continue to protect you and your family. Please keep going, Max. Christ is King indeed. I hope so as well. I hope this comment is never referenced again. I hope I don't go missing tomorrow and you guys are like, man, you remember that guy that was talking? Wonder if he did it. Hey B, emailed you. Hope I'm wrong. Desperate to hear your take. Thanks for all you do. Christ is King indeed. I might see that. You didn't tell me what it's about, so I don't have anything to go look at. I mean, I can't look for, I hope I'm wrong. Maybe, unless that was your subject. Oh, did I say it, Woody? No. Whoopee. Trigger's show today shows he had something long and rigid. Yes, I said, I don't doubt that there's a possibility he was holding something, but not a 42-inch long Mauser 98. That is an impossibility. Is he holding a shorter platform rifle or some sort of pole? I don't know. Some sort of device? I don't know. Like, it's possible he's holding something like this, but there's no way he's holding something like this. I mean, that's not a thing. There's nothing that long in him. A 42-inch rifle would almost cause him to stretch out both arms. And you would see that. You would just see it. I'm sorry, you would see it. So if Matt believes he's holding a 42-inch long Mauser, I disagree with him vehemently. If he believes he's holding something, I'll allow that. Baron, didn't EK go on live national TV and say she was building the most amazing, beautiful mausoleum? I think she said memorial. Put Charlie so her babies could visit him in peace. What happened to that? Yeah, I think that's a misreading of what she said. I would have to go back and read it to be sure. Go back and listen to be sure. I think she said the most beautiful memorial. And maybe that's what they're building at TPUSA. I don't know. My son had a woo when he was in service. Oh, a whoopee? Yeah, it's a military thing. First super ever claiming #1 fan from Germany, Bavaria, south of Munich. Can't wait to hear you say Munich. I've been there. I've not been there, but I have traced my family tree and I have a lot of relatives from that area. A lot. So yeah. If you see anyone that looks like me, it's possible. Good afternoon, sir. So you're saying you performed a recreation of this rooftop fed slop video and you didn't record it for your entertainment? For our entertainment. Shame. Correct. Not for our entertainment. That is correct. You had theorized the bald man and crew left the car in front of Miss Noble's. Possible that there's an Airbnb home in the area where they had a meeting. It's possible. Sure. Anything's possible. I think it's great that you talked to Owen. Can't wait to see Tyler Robinson and Baron Decathlon. Huachuca is a place of thunder in Apache. Kutqua. Keep up the good work. I will. The decathlon. Maybe that's an inside joke I'm missing, but I'm not decathloning. Oh, you're just saying because I said I could beat him in anything? Yeah. I would toast him in a decathlon. Don't they do hurdles and sprints and mile and throw a javelin and shot put? I would toast that dude. Tyler Robinson, you don't have a chance, brother. You're no. I've seen you, bro. I'm not knocking you. I'm just telling you. I could beat you. You name the game. Unless it's Magic the Gathering. Then I'm out. Then I'm out. We have Whoobies. In my opinion, it's too big to be what it is. It's very silky and lightweight. Would fly around in air and not have any padding. Thanks for all you do. Okay. Proven wrong. I'll allow it. Okay, I'm switching to Poncho. Can you read Psalms 5:8 through 11, please? Can I? Sure. Send me the Old Testament. What is this? TPUSA? They don't read from the New Testament. Every time they quote scripture, it's Old Testament. Let's see here. What saith the psalmist on this fine, glorious afternoon? Psalms, what is it? 5:8 to 11? Are you guys paying attention? I feel a little bit like that old TV show where they would open up and he's reading a book. He's like, oh, well, good evening. But I, for the abundance of your mercy, will enter into your house. I will bow down towards your holy sanctuary out of fear for you. Lord, guide me in your justice because of my foes. Make straight your way before me, for there is no sincerity in their mouth. Their heart is corrupt. Their throat is an open grave. On their tongue are subtle lies. Declare them guilty, God. Make them fall by their own devices. Drive them out for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. He was mad. See, he was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup at a deli. But thank you. Thank you for that, Texas Warrior, Texas. A lot of Texasing going on in that username. I get to see you live in Denmark, finally. Truth will prevail. Oh, Land of the Danes. Land of the Danes. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I've got my phone charging on the side, and it does like a thing. And it's me dead asleep in the middle of the night with a baby curled up in my chest. I would show it to you, but I don't have a shirt on. And I'm not like that. That is really cute. That is really cute. Let me go back. Truth will prevail. Good will triumph over evil. Thank you for your amazing work and for fighting evil. I am in awe of you. I'm in awe of you. Kedwa 47. The world needs more Baron Coleman's. Much love. Well, the world needs more Kedwa 47s in Denmark and around the world. Thank you. I'm Catholic as well. Curious to know what your thoughts are on the Jesuits. Or diabolical things about them, but I don't know. I do know that the devil infiltrates the holiest things, marriages, children, and the church. That is, the last part is absolutely true. Owen Benjamin and I talked about that today, believe it or not, of all things. Thoughts on the Jesuits? I don't really have any. Again, I told you, I try to approach my faith like a 14th century French peasant, and they did not have an opinion on the Jesuits. Like I don't get into all the church politicking if I can avoid. I don't find it helpful. Baron, can you give us an update on the timeline of the prosecution? Just a quick summary of what's done and what's to come as a legal mind for us laymen. Sure. So the prosecution has now filed their motion to bind it over to the trial. The defense will have to file theirs, I think, by September 1st. I think the judge has said there will be some oral summation, and then he'll render a decision sometime on or after September 21st, if I recall the timeline correctly. If he rules that they did not meet their burden, then Tyler will go free, and they'll either have to recharge him or investigate someone else. If he rules that they've met the burden, the prosecution met the burden, it'll go to trial. And it will, you'll start seeing things like discovery battles, and you'll see, 702 hearings where they bring in experts and determine whether or not they're experts. And I don't know how much, if any of that will be televised and what the coverage will be like on it. But, that's kind of just an idea of where we are. You can't see the gun, but they all recognize TR. Yep. 4K. Looks like he threw the whoopee down and scooted on top of it, if that's what he picked up. Good catch. Keep going, Max. Whatever he threw down, he scooted on top of it. It was some sort of pad or towel or something that he wanted to be laying on. I double dog dare you to show the video of you crawling. P.S. I ordered my bull butter hat today and cannot wait. Christ is king indeed. Jesus loves you. I'm not going to show it for a couple of reasons. One is I look ridiculous. You're not supposed to agree with that. I hear you agreeing, and you're not supposed to. So that's one reason I don't want to show it. I look ridiculous. The other reason is if you show a gun on YouTube, you kind of get dinged and labeled as a gun channel, and it's not good for you. Not good for you. At this point, their mundane attack and deployment of all these random accounts on X reaffirmed the alternative theory. The TPUSA 2.0 cover-up is sickening. I hope someone with conscience cracks soon. Yes, I agree with all of that. 100%. I have nothing to add. Beautiful comment. The first time catching you live, I was so excited I did a happy dance and got a strange look from my hubs. Love watching all your shows. Many blessings. I hope the hubs is watching with you, because now he gets it. Baron, thank you. Podcast aside, you're a gem of a man. A gem. Stacy, Jane, Platt. Thank you. I'll allow it. Trigger Smart thinks showed how there was a gun and a shot. Sounds like he is changing tune. A shot. I will have to catch that. There's no way that he thinks he saw a shot. None. I'll have to check it out. I'm more concerned TR isn't receiving adequate representation. This just makes it worse if he gets the death penalty when we all know he's innocent. What can be done, Baron? Have any attorney friends? So I too have my concerns on the representation point. I didn't used to. But when Diligent went down to Panguitch, and those people said that they 100% believe Tyler Robinson was there. The server, anyway. The owner doesn't want to have anything to do with it, and I don't blame him. But when the server said, I 100% believe that was Tyler Robinson, his face, his voice, mannerism, that's him. And the defense has not reached out to him. That was problematic. That to me was evidence that something might be awry. But we don't know. What can be done? I don't know. I mean, Tyler's got his lawyers. That's who's going to represent him. First time I've finally been able to catch a live show. I've been watching you religiously ever since Ian Carroll gave you a shout out. I absolutely love my #1 fan of the Man in Tennessee shirt. Go Max. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Ian's been a tremendous blessing to the show. Baron, this new shooter is not even set up to see Charlie Kirk. He's not on a ledge. Please compare the two videos to Google Maps. Also, folding rifles are a thing, maybe hidden by the whoopee. Oh, and please show the new Lego video. I don't know how Candace got away with showing that Lego video. Because everyone else who shows it gets a ding on their YouTube channel. So I'm not going to show it. She's like, maybe she's so big they can't ding her. I don't know. Whether or not he had an angle at the, I personally don't believe you can tell from that video whether or not he had an angle. Admittedly, I do not see a gun pointed down at a 10-degree angle, and that's what it would take. Like, you can't shoot straight if your target is 10 degrees below you. You're going to shoot right over his top of his head. So I struggle with that. I don't see a firearm pointed down. But it's very bad footage. Very bad footage. That gun would have to be hanging out over the ledge and pointed down, in my opinion, or he'd have to be up high enough that he can shoot down over the ledge. In your opinion, do you think they think we're stupid or just powerless? I'm not sure which is scarier. Love your work. Go Max. Christ is king indeed. They think the bulk of people are stupid and they think everyone is powerless. That's exactly what they think. Baron, been here since Google Trends. I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for not selling out. Go Max. No danger there. There's no selling out happening here. Thank you. My brother is tetraplegic, C6, C7, due to an accident. We both said the body would go flaccid. Great work as always, Baron. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, the science seems to support that. If you're missing your cervical spinal cord, first, I'm sorry your brother's dealing with that. But if you're missing your cervical spinal cord from C2 to C7, you're not clenching your fists. There's no way. Great work, B. Do you think it could be a gunshot from some other place that hit the mic and caused it to explode? Thank you, Christ is king indeed. No, I don't believe that at all. I don't think that's even a remote possibility. Electronic charge is consistent with burnt polyester. Fits neatly into microexplosives. Electronic charge is consistent with burnt polyester. I'll have to take your word for it because I don't really know what you're saying. Fits neatly into microexplosives. Okay, I believe you. I believe you. If Tyler actually took the shot, I would love to see pictures of his shoulder. Wouldn't he have been bruised from the kickback? I feel like his small bony frame would have shown bruising. I have been bruised by guns, but typically it's when I was in a poor position and not ready and was not anticipating it. I had a shotgun hit me in the face one time. I thought I lost a tooth. Apparently I have very strong teeth. It was bird hunting and a bird moved quickly and I didn't get my gun repositioned on my shoulder and I went ahead and shot it. Got the bird. Almost lost a tooth. So it happens. It happens. The jacket is what's flopping in his hand that they found at the bus stop. Go Max. Christ is king D. Maybe. It could be. Possible the lateral crawls is from a military. A European military. Or a Middle Eastern military. I'm just naming other regions of the world. I'm not naming any countries in particular. Asia, Australia, Antarctica. Maybe. Oh, they call it a leopard crawl. Is that what that is? Oh, no, that's different. I'll have to look that up. That's an interesting thought. I hadn't even considered that. Maybe that's something we don't teach here. Just finished catching up from yesterday. It was anticipating withdrawals for the rest of the day when I was pleasantly surprised by your live. You're the best, B. Jesus loves you. Thank you, Misty. Glad I could satisfy you. That did not sound right. Glad I could ease your withdrawals. I believe the plane that flew low before and after released a recovered micro drone of some sort. New technology we don't know exists. Perhaps, but I haven't seen evidence of it. Giggling at my desk, thinking about you in the front yard with your rifles to reenact this. Yeah, it was giggle worthy. Just a thought. Could his neck have been broken when they tossed him in the SUV? Not that way. That like the damage they described was not toss in the SUV neck breaking. That was obliterated. They said they used the word obliterated, guys. Obliterated. Can't remember, but they didn't. But didn't they initially say the bullet traveled from the neck wound on the left across to TK's right side vertebrae, traveled down right side where Mike was, origination of explosion. When you say they, we're talking about Andrew Colvette. He sucks. So who knows? Quick Clot is impregnated with Cowlin Clay. Found the impregnated. That's the word we're using now to describe slathered on. I found that when slightly moistened and used to wipe off a small amount of blood, leaves a whitish, streaky paste behind when dry. Very similar to the white markings on CK's SUV. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what they were using. Impregnated wipes. Now, noticing lots of sloppers talking Candace getting electronics seized. Nothing would shock me by this FBI, hoping she's backing everything up elsewhere. I assure you that seizing her electronics would be of no value. Christ is king indeed. But Baron, my parents cut the head off a chicken back in Ghana, and the chicken ran around for several minutes without its head. Yeah. Charlie, what a chicken. He's just not a chicken. You never heard the expression run around like a podcaster with his head cut off. Like, that's not a thing. Nothing. Humans and chickens are decidedly different creatures. No Tyler on video, no rifle on roof, no DNA on roof either. Yes, that's correct. Correct. I thought when you were going to show proof of the broken back, you were going to use the recently deceased body, the fly, you offed on the last show. No, he's been gone. I took care of him. You notice I made that the thumbnail? With me whacking the fly. Got him. Hey, Baron, I don't have X. Where can I find footage of CK's shirt movement, mic movement, etc.? Before and after the Big Bang. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. So if you go to archive.org, I'm going to say this, and if you need to roll it back, do. So I'm going to say it at once. archive.org/download/Kirk shooting. One word. archive.org/download/Kirk shooting. You'll find lots of videos there. Agree the guy on the roof didn't kill CK, but what if it is Tyler Robinson? He's just playing his part. Well, his DNA should be up there. His fingerprints should be up there. You already talked about what happened with his necklace. I know you said you were going to say more about the necklace that EK is currently wearing. Christ is King indeed. No, I haven't been on air again since then. That was Monday, wasn't it? Sunday or Monday? I'll get to it. I promise. This is so dark. Start praying the rosary and chaplet for whoever did kill CK. May their souls taste hell's bitterness and repent. Those are strong words. Those are strong words. Is there a way to map out the timing of hand signals from security and roof movements? Of course. Blake Bednarz on X has that up perfectly. Bednarz. He did a good job with that. Credit where credit's due. He put the roof video up and then showed all the available other footage in one scene. Very well done. Very well done. Edge, dear sir, go get him. What happens if defense is part of the slop? Well, we're in trouble. Tyler's in bad shape. What detonated the mic? I don't know. At least they admit chest injury with hints of strangulation. Prayers continue for TR and all good guys. Jesus loves you. So in my mind, it's possible the mic broke, but did not explode or detonate or anything like that. But it's still possible the mic broke. I've really got to flesh this out. I'm in the infancy of this line of thinking. Regarding EK's Lebanese heritage, many Arabs consider Lebanese as code for another country. Duly noted. What she said, 72, will show you everything you need to know about the setup of electromagnetic impulse with 460V and hands completing the circuit on mic. I am very familiar with her work. Very familiar. Am I the only one who sees him slip the poncho off when he hits the drop down? No, you're not. You're not. Looks like he took something off for sure. King Baron, I hate to speculate, but do you think they botched the autopsy and discarded the spine to match their bullet theory? That's true. That is so disgusting to think medical people were involved in that. Christ is King indeed. That would be horrific. If they botched the autopsy on purpose, that would be criminal. They should go to prison for life. I'd love to see them have Tyler try to fit that rifle in his skinny jeans and the look on their faces when they can't. Like a Johnny Cochran moment. If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. We got to come up with something for the... if the gun doesn't fit in the pants, you must let Tyler Robinson dance. I don't know. Yeah, come up with something. Yeah. Damage to parietal lobe. Top of brain, not shot. Yeah, that was kind of my thought. There was a force pulling up, pulled his brain with it. Hey, doctor. With the curvature of the male chest, create enough pressure shift to alter the trajectory of something coming out of a road mic. Pressure shift. I don't know what a pressure shift would be there. I don't know what that means. So I can't answer that. Baron, hope my email about Frank's comment regarding gross stuff in CK's mouth helped fortify your opinion that CK wasn't shot. Frank T. unwittingly provided evidence of an explosion. Let me take a picture of that. I have to check that out. I don't recall him saying that, but I will. I will find it. Thank you. So Erica might not be Team Erica for long. Oh, Erica, yeah. I think Candace and Barron are now Team Erica more than Erica is. We're actually pushing for the release of the information. The Trust Me Bro trial. How sad. Hey, Barron, this is the wife this time. Oh, okay. Can you wish my husband a happy belated birthday? Yes, happy birthday, Mr. Fox. We both love what you're doing. Thanks for helping to uncover the truth. Remember, Jesus loves you. I remember. This is giving Serpico vibes. I believe you. You're rocking. That chair was a great purchase. Oh, yeah. It rocks a little. It was a great purchase. It's a nice chair. I like it. Heartbreaking examiner's report. Also, Valhalla did an analysis of the shooter's position on roof. No line of sight for the shot. ENC got me to you. I'm so grateful for you and the team. Christ is king indeed. I hope you heard my comments on the Valhalla video earlier. Will we ever get to see a diagram where each and every alleged bullet fragment was located in Charlie's body? I personally don't believe he was shot. Explosive or high tech, in my opinion. If you know, you know. I agree with that last part. Explosive or high tech. I think it's down to that. Will we see a diagram? I don't know. What I would like to see is a CT or an X-ray. I doubt they had time to do an MRI. That would be, I think, even more definitive. An MRI would be great, but I doubt they did that. But even a CT would show you the different axes all the way down. Where an X-ray is just going to give you a brief glimpse. A CT is going to give you, in other words, a three-dimensional component to it, where you could line the axes up and see the three-dimensional. But I'd like to see something. Maybe first he was electrocuted. Electromagnetic wave led to long heart hemorrhage and brain damage, causing decorticate posture. Under the table, something resulted in severe severed spinal cord. You saw a pic of him with head hanging like broke going to car. Christ is king indeed. I did. Head was hanging in a very unusual position, one that I could not get in myself with a spine. So that actually is consistent with what the photograph I saw shows. But I think you're onto something. I think there was multiple causes. I know Tyler's skinny, but if he had a gun in his skinny jeans, you'd definitely see the outline. Where's the outline? I don't know. In a Discord screenshot from Turkey Tom, the next message following his confession says September 12th. Well, maybe that is from other people. I don't know. Or was it from him? If it was from him, we got a real problem. Can't we disregard all the text messages now that we know it wasn't Grandpa's rifle? Love your show. Baron. I think you can. I think you can disregard the whole story. I have a spinal cord injury. Mine is lower back. Mine was severed by bone fragments from my spine shattering. But below my injury went insta-limp. Yeah, that's very consistent. I hate to hear that first, but thank you for sharing, because it's very consistent with the science. But Baron, after this week, anal sphincter fatigue might be good reading for like an Andrew. Oh, you followed that up with a crisis king indeed, huh? I'm gonna blanket over that comment. Yeah. Whoopee, limp, and flaccid. Your words, not mine. Coach Colin taught me to find humor in heavy subjects. He's the GOAT of it, if you ask my opinion. I think this was a gunshot from either another building or farthest van. Bone exited. His spine was damaged, but became severed from the way they carried him. That would be inconsistent with everything I know about this case, but, it's your opinion. I'll allow you to have your opinion. Baron on fire, like his hoodie. Case dismissed. I agree. Dismiss the case. They don't have case against. How are they dropping new messages 10 months too late? It's so bad, guys. So bad what they're doing, Christian. Critter, I agree with you. Wholeheartedly. They will be known as Beaver and Butthead now. Did I say Beaver? Beaver and Butthead? Rick, I don't know that I said that. I don't recall saying that. I know Candace called him Beavis and Butthead. Rick Colors flinch to the shot has always got my spidey senses tingling. It feels more, oh, no, that's not what it's supposed to look like. Yeah. Coach's episode today had a powerful segment that talks about how what CO is leading disrupts what CK's public sacrifice was meant to usher in. Good. May she continue leading it then. 357.15. Coach is going Baron length now. Wow. How did they get a heartbeat 10 minutes after the hospital then? The heart will only restart if the vertebrae is not damaged and they were electrocuted, overdosed, or drowned. Can't be both. So you're outside of my medical knowledge. I do know the heart beats independent of the brain, at least temporarily. It has its own capacity to generate an electrical charge that's not dependent on the brain. I think that's accurate. Again, you're way outside of my, I'm going back to like ninth grade biology. I could be very wrong. I'm not a professional. Everyone missing a major piece. If you use Google Earth, you'll see the position of the shooter in Candace's video. The person had no line of sight to Charlie's location. I think that's a misreading of it. I disagree with that conclusion. Though I did temporarily agree with that conclusion. I disagree with it now. Well, obviously, they must not have got a heartbeat in the ER. I don't think they did. I don't know why they said that. I don't think they got a heartbeat. I think he was probably declared dead within seconds or minutes at most of arriving. Hey, Baron Parker Sedgwick, formerly with Unblank America, says he was in line to ask a question on 910, but I've never seen him in video footage. Have you? I don't even know who that is. Let me look at him and see if I recognize Sedgwick. I don't know that I've ever seen that guy in a video, but I don't know. I don't have it memorized. My hubby was a U.S. career soldier, 22 years active and trained soldiers. He never trained lateral crawls, only low-high. He's seen soldiers from other countries utilize lateral bear crawl. Love your work. Christ is king indeed. Well, isn't that interesting, Susie Toozy? I'd never even considered that's a way to transport yourself. As Cash said, see you in VFT. Jesse Danks, Lizzie, and Farmer, who's the director of operations. Bongina. I'm rooting for y'all. The fake deep state mockingbird psyop. I don't know that I understand completely what you're talking about, but I'll allow it. Can someone please look at the original kill video and look at the blood? Looked like AI to me from the first time I saw it, like it was put there to hide something. No blood landed on his forearm. I've talked to people who were there. They saw blood. Sorry I was late, Baron. Darlin. Darlin? I'll allow that. I can't see the damage to the thyroid, whatever that word is, and trachea being caused by the neck injury or the microphone explosion. In my opinion, sounds like strangulation after. Love you. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, that's outside of my bailiwick. Lying liars lie. Grinder Benny, Sergeant Shekels, Agent. Oh, I'm not going to say that last one. I'll allow you to say it. $5 for the lesson on how to prompt an AI for a search. Isn't it amazing? It's a totally different world when you start asking AI to ask questions. Totally different world. So thank you. Thank you. Hope it's worth all $5 of those dollars. Really starting to wonder if the shape charge took an upward trajectory from below his nipple up through his torso, maybe even into his C-spine. No, because we don't see any damage in the photographs that's consistent with that. Fauci is the new distraction. Correct. Roll out Fauci. Benny J is faking gay in 4K. He's in real life too. Please, audience, look into Lucy Letby, UK, convicted for the rest of her life, innocence and no evidence, complete stitch up of a whistleblower. Lucy Letby. Letby? I'd never heard of her. Look into her, people. Why didn't the defense this video shown? Is that part of the conspiracy, or is there another reason they wouldn't want the roof video released? I don't know. Fed sloppers are faking gay in Ultra 4K HD. Yes, indeed. I'm convinced the jury's prayers worked. Asked for prayers for a new job recently and got a huge offer this week. Wow, God is good. Thanks, jury and Baron. Wonderful news and congratulations, man. I know the stress that causes, and congratulations. Things are heating up now. Keep going. Our humble host, Christ is King, and love from Cape Town, South Africa. Thank you, Nikki. Nix. Appreciate that. Trump lying by omission on all matters of America First. Agreed. Did you see Andrew Wilson, claiming to be claiming to be two different medical examiners replying to Candace? No, I didn't. I don't pay much attention to him. Can you further explain why a gunshot that would sever the spinal cord could not have caused the nervous system reaction from CK? I did a whole segment on it. Further explain? I mean, I can't explain it better than I did. Once the nervous system, everything goes limp within, what they say, 100 milliseconds or 150 milliseconds. He held on to that microphone for like 2 or 3 seconds. That's not possible. My girlfriend has a test result from November 2019, viral infection from unknown origin. It was wild. That sickness knocked me down harder than swine flu did. Yeah, well, I done told you. Baron, TR has no backpack on the roof, but then has one when he Spider-Man's down. Is it clear enough that you can see he has no backpack on the roof? I have to look at that. Isn't the entry wound at an upward trajectory? How's that possible when the shooter's on the roof? Oh, I don't know that we can tell it's from an upward trajectory. But hello from Toledo. I've been there. I went to a family reunion there. Maybe more than once. I was little. I remember that she had a whole bunch of junk in her basement. Like an old cash register, one of the ching chong, one of those things. We played with it. When did you military crawl in your yard? Do you think you may have the 5th most DNA on your on your gun? No. It's not the most degraded DNA. Shouldn't be. I got COVID before COVID in November 2019. Yeah, no, you didn't. You got the bird flu. Can't plead the 5th on Judgment Day. No, you can't. No, you can't. Thank you, Baron. Benny likes Johnson. He likes himself. He's a big fan of the family. He likes the Johnson family. What's wrong with that? You can't complain about that. He likes the Johnson family. He loves the Johnson family. I hope. I mean, I've heard he does. Who doesn't like their own family? Sir Baron, I vote you and the principal doing weekly Thursday shows together. Pretty pleased. The world needs more of this. We need more of Daisy too. Do shows together every week. I doubt she would. I would go for it, but I doubt she would go. Thank you and Daisy. Did you tell us the difference in necklaces? I don't remember. If so, my 18-year-old listened to opening on time. Eye opening for her. Christ is King. Indeed. That time opening is up on the Baron Coleman Clips channel. It went up today. Let me see. Let me see if it's up. Yeah, it did. It went up 6 hours ago. 6 hours ago. If you guys aren't subscribed to this channel, you're missing out. The editor does such a good job picking stuff out, putting it up. Baron Coleman Clips, at Baron Coleman Clips, right there in the middle. It's a great channel. I mean, not just because it's me, just because it's well done. Like it's professionally put together. I dare say it's way more professional than this channel. It actually has edits. They don't just click the button and go home. No, I haven't said that about the necklaces yet. I'll get to it. Chickens with heads missing must be exempted. I saw one. My mother separated its chopped head and watched it run around with no head. Yes. You will not find an example in all of human history of a human being decapitated and then running around the yard for several minutes. That would be terrifying. The feds and medical community never mentioned it, but SARS-2 coronavirus is a cold virus, so COVID-19 is technically a cold. People wouldn't panic over a cold. Colds can lead to pneumonia. They can. Wrong. CV-19 was released to get the bioweapon in everyone's veins and slowly dying before the pull shift. It's a thought. Hello from Atlanta. You actually in the airport, the ATL airport? Are there any updates regarding the Egyptian planes, Ikai's alibi for September 8th? No and no. Actually, there are updates. I just don't think they've been made public on the Egyptian planes. Anybody come up with Benny Johnson yet? No. In my opinion, the whole reason Farnsworth selfied was to plant in the minds and create the narrative of gunshot killed Charlie. He followed orders. I agree, and it was probably so lousy that he didn't release it. That's kind of my thought on it. We got Paralyzed Testicles, Lisa Knows Nothing, Blake Neff Speed, Spam Allen, Matt Retardio, Louder with Crowder. We got them all in here, guys. Man, you cracked me up. Thank you for making me laugh. God bless. Well, they're all there. They're all there. Did Candace forget that Charlie actually said at an event that she would be capable of running TPUSA? Is she too humble to share that clip or forgot? I don't know. Ask her. I've not asked her about that, but yeah. Thanks for making my day. God bless you. Number one fan from Longview, Texas. When you guys say God bless you, it makes me think I sneezed or something. Gesundheit. Gesundheit. My grandma used to say that. The Flash was a mirror to signal the ground team. Could have been. Could have been. Second month as a member. First comment, I've been catching up on your videos and had to cancel renew on my desktop after you mentioned the $3 Apple upcharge. Appreciate your content. Keep going, Max brother. Yes. Always join members' pages from desktops, not your app. How could TR trust the feds as his defense team? Well, it's not the feds, it's the state. It's the state. But some people don't have a choice. They can't afford their own defense. If you watch the video for a few seconds before the flash, you'll see flashes at least 2 other times to the right. I think windshield of car. Could be. I've heard that. First image of TR rifle in box at night, bolt side up. Court images on the other side and in daylight, still in grass. Did they collect it and then come back? It's a good question. It's actually a really good question. So Tyler has a small gun and he is shooting blanks. Poor guy. Stop. No one thinks it's a fold AR. It even flipped out like one. I don't think it flipped out like a fold AR. To me, it would have gone top down, and fold ARs go like to the side. But maybe he had it on the side and folded it out. I don't know. That flash was a signal he was up there and ready to get in position, I think. Duly noted. Does Daisy like the Dallas Cowboys? I have no idea. Watching late, question, when did that part of CK's spinal cord disappear? If it was still there during clenching. Christ is king indeed. That's a good question. It might have disappeared before the clenching, meaning that something else was causing him to clench. And that's kind of my current hypothesis. What makes the community so special is watching the camaraderie develop between podcasters and the witnessing true friendships develop. The listeners are treated like we matter and appreciate it. You do matter. We have gotten so many tips. Candace and I have talked about it. So many tips have come from listeners in comments and emails. I mean, it's a lot. Baron, could they have given all the guys detonators so didn't know which one actually did the deed? Would guarantee silence. Christ is king indeed. They certainly could have. I think that's what happens when they take someone's life at the death penalty phase. Don't they have 3 or 4 people pulling the trigger and they don't know which one does it? Baron, serious question, is Tyler a boy or girl? Tyler was never transitioning. Is he still transitioning, by the way? No, Tyler was never alleged to have transitioned. That was supposedly Lance, and I don't know that I believe it. By the way, AnthroCon takes place here in Pittsburgh every summer. All are welcome. Thank you for being you. Like anthro, like human con? Is that what AnthroCon is? Anthropomorphics, yeah, human-like animal characters. Oh, furries. I'll pass, but thanks for the invite. My cousin died of flu in 2018. He was 30. It happens. Christ is king. Thank you for all you do, Go Max. First, I'm sorry to hear about your cousin. I didn't mean to make light of your cousin, but and I don't feel like I made light of it, but if you took it that way, I do apologize. But yeah, no, I mean, flu can kill you. It absolutely can kill you. Hey B, thanks for all you do. The video of the casket with EK's odd. That's one way to put it. His hands are very small. Could she have used a random body at Fort Huachuca for the photo op? Maybe CK's body wasn't ready yet. No, we're pretty confident that took place at Draper, Utah. Whether it's Charlie, we're taking it at face value that it is. I believe it probably was.
I think they meant funeral home, FH.
Oh, funeral home. Yeah. So I doubt they used a random body at the funeral home. We're taking it on faith that they didn't, but I don't know why, because we'd take nothing else. But they would have had the funeral director involved in that, and that would be a little much, I think. So no. I mean, the small hands, it's hard to tell on a 2-dimensional photograph. It really is hard to tell. Matinees for us who live on the other side of the world, please. We also need our beauty sleep, Cape Town. I'm trying. I'm giving you one today. My mom is visiting from South Africa. I nearly jumped out of my skin for the early live show. She locked in halfway through your opening and said she enjoyed your show. Love from the Netherlands. Christ is king indeed. Wow. We're going global, guys. Netherlands, South Africa. Mini kamikaze drone. You're spot on. Have proof on video. Keep up the good work. You're funny, high IQ, me too, platform guy. Stay safe and God bless you and your family. I would be surprised if there's proof of a mini kamikaze drone. Could Corby Hall's reported stolen foldable gun on the day of CK's ending have been used as a backup in case Mike didn't explode? That's why you don't see it, but he uses scope to know when to run. It could be. You said could. I mean, it could be. With friends like Andrew K., who needs enemies? I'm not sure he was a friend. I signed up for OCIA classes today. Told the lady Candace and you got me started on the road to Catholicism. Lady was a fan. Oh, that's great. Let me know how that goes. Check in with me as that class develops, because I really enjoyed my experience going through that class, and I taught in that class for 12 or 13 years at different parishes and always enjoyed it. God bless yours. I went back and watched almost all your shows from the first one, and number 32 is amazing in retrospect. You were right on as usual. Very interesting. Thanks for all you do. Was that the electrocution one? Sounds about right. I like Matinee Baron. I can watch while my 2-year-old naps. I usually watch after he goes to bed, which is after 11 p.m. Thank you for all you and Daisy do. Your 2-year-old goes to bed at 11? My 2-year-olds go to bed at like 6, 7 maybe. 11? Oh, that's too late. Not that it's too late for the kid. The kid will sleep as much as he needs to sleep. But I need time away from my 2-year-old. Is it time to bring back The Exorcist? It's always time for a good exorcism. I feel like TR's lawyers should put on a not suicidal statement, so it's not on record. So it's on record. Kind of dark. I'm so late. Still going to listen to the intro jam. Well, hurry up, because once we post the show, it goes away. Got to catch you live for the first time. Love from the great state of Kansas. Christ is king indeed. Flat, square, Cornish, a lot of corn, wheat. Kansas is a great state. Rock chalk. I grew up with an old Mauser in our family. No way you can remove the barrel from the stock, assemble it, and just hit your target. I wouldn't think so. Baron, last year I messaged I was converting to Catholicism. Just want to update. I was confirmed in the church April 9. Thank you for your prayers. Christ and King indeed. Thanks, Joe Hardy. Thanks for checking in. I love updates when people have little milestones. It's what makes a good community. Ellen Keller wasn't blind from birth. Fever caused it and her other maladies in early childhood, so it's possible she remembered some notion of colors. I'll allow it, but I don't think she wrote all that stuff. Owen Benjamin, I would love to be privy to that. Yeah, it was 2 hours. It was a good conversation, long conversation. 5 kids, devout Catholic. You're the future. Me? No, you're the future, sir. I believe the children are our future. I can't sing. I don't know why I try. Next, TC, your monologues are unparalleled. Has CO approached to cover during maternity leave like Ian? Your brilliance would cast a wider net. The Rib asks often, what is the $300 charge when I super chat? The Rib. The Rib. Oh, gosh. You can't call her the Rib? Well, you can't call her the Rib? That's funny. We have a big pot of rib meat right now. It's luxurious. It's luxurious. When you don't have to mess with the bones, you can just go in with a fork and start stabbing at it. Ah, it's great. Let's see. Has she asked me to cover during maternity leave? I wouldn't tell you if she had. I wouldn't. That wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be right. But thank you. It's very kind of you to say all that. From the Uck. We got more Uckers giving L-Bucks. Edge this time works great during summer, but back to school, then no. I love your lives. Also, is Judge G seeing these new revelations? Will he consider them? I don't know. I'm really starting to believe CK had a dead man switch and CO was the recipient. I believe CK believed he had been infiltrated and EK was planted wife. That's dark. Excellent content. Absolutely sensical. That claim 30.6 obliterating C2 to C7 and spinal cord severed is debunked by videos of CK hit. ME report is BS. Still feel necklace caused wound regardless. So my thoughts on that The ME is just examining the body. They've not seen any footage. They don't know what happened at the scene. They don't know what happened after they're just looking at a body and reporting what they see. So if there's an inconsistency, assuming the ME report is correct, if there's an inconsistency between what the ME reported and what the body did, then that has to be reconciled with another cause. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. Very great show. Very interesting. Lance Father's grandfather background. Fed Slop on CO show yesterday. Thank you for all you do. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Thank you. I wonder if the guy on the roof who clearly didn't have a gun had an acoustic device to make the gunshot sound as part of the subterfuge. You know, I thought about that for a while, but the video, you remember the video I played, and I can play it again one day if I have to, but of the people who were directly below the Losee Center, like right in front of where that shot would have taken place. And while everyone's scrambling, they're like, the shot came from down there. That came from down there. They're right there. They would know if it came from right over their head. It would have been right on top of them. So I don't know. Casey, another merch idea. Everybody loves a nooner. Well, yeah. Who doesn't want a quality podcast right at the 12 o'clock hour? Who could argue with that? Nooner, LOL, pain meds. Home, all good. No PT, 2 weeks. A moon goddess. In 2 weeks, I expect you to be back on it. Expect you to be back on it. Glad to know you're doing well. It concerned me when Jack Posobiec came from the preliminary and stated TR appeared emaciated. Seeing JP was saying TR was not long for this earth. I feel like they've been setting that up, and I don't like it. Daisy Vinny Politan investigates pod on YouTube. Oh, you're saying he has a YouTube podcast. The word slaughter is one of my favorite to refer to when learning the English language. Remove the S and you have a completely different word. Laughter. Yeah. That's a good point. I never thought about that. The English language is weird. I don't know how people learn it. Another good example of a podcast investigation helping you to get a conviction. In is your own backyard. It helped reopen and crack the Kristen Smart case after 23 years. Yeah, but see, we're trying to prevent it from having to wait 23 years. Small observation, before the Big Bang, Charlie Kirk would put his mic down after answering each question. It seems as BH would tell him each time to pick it back up and keep holding it. Odd. Well, I have to go back and look at that. I don't recall that. I don't recall seeing that. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Pastor Tim Remington at the Altar Church in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, got shot 6 times and lived through it. I visited with him a few times lately regarding my son and situation going through challenges. That's who I was referencing when I told that story about the pastor that got shot 6 times. It was Tim Remington in Idaho. Can you show CO shooter vid in map perspective? Doesn't make sense to me based on the road cars behind. Feel like that's not even where TR was. I'm not going to right now just because of the time. And I'm trying not to run into the principal's start time. We're looking to see if she put up a time. But I do believe he was in the right spot.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm a looking too. We're a looking people. No, she has not yet put up a start time, so we have at least a half hour. But yeah, no, I think that video accurately shows him in the right spot. Would love your opinion as to why TR is not speaking out about being an obvious patsy at this point. It's as clear as noonday sun. He is not guilty. Are you from the United States? I can't tell. So in the United States, we have a Fifth Amendment right not to make a statement, not to testify in our own defense, not to answer questions. And that is wisely, particularly at this stage, very wisely exercised. I mean, he's not even been bound over to a jury trial yet. Why would you say anything right now? Maybe when the 911 call heard, we got him, we're taking him to the hospital, they were hearing someone talking to Ben's security on another phone. I think that was the implication. BTS is my band and has been since 2018. Give them a listen, B. Christ is King indeed. I've heard of them. Is that a K-pop band? I'm not listening. Mary, I'm not knocking you for it. And I like Korean barbecue. I like Korean food in general. We used to live in a part of Alabama that had a lot of Koreans because we had a Hyundai plant right there. So thousands of Koreans there. And they had the best restaurants. Oh, the food was so good. So good. But music, not so much. Hit that like for your B. Yeah, where are we on likes? You guys better shape up or ship out. I kid. Where are we on likes? We're at a fair number. We can always do better. There's 28,000 watching and only 17,000 likes. You guys could shape up. Best episode so far, my man. Christ is King indeed. Well, thank you. That's very kind. Very kind. This was a TV show called Wisdom of the Crowd about the idea of crowdsourcing to solve crimes. It was so good. You guys should check it out. That sounds really interesting. If they recharge him, wouldn't that be double jeopardy? No, it's not double jeopardy until jeopardy attaches. And jeopardy doesn't attach until you swear at a jury. So you're at the state's mercy before then. What episode opening do you talk about how fundamentally important setting expectations in your everyday relationships? Having that chat with my son. Ooh, I don't know. It was a long time ago. I mean, like 6 months ago or more. I wish I could help you. I don't remember. You might be able to ask Grok sometime. I uploaded all my transcripts into Grok, or I did not terribly long ago, because I wanted to ask Grok a bunch of questions. And so he should have them. Maybe you can ask Grok to help you find that. I don't think any of them have a conscience. Maybe. Wait, how did I miss this Thursday afternoon? I'll allow it. Owen Benjamin, yay. So happy you talked. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, this was not planned to be a Thursday afternoon show, but my evening schedule would not allow a later show tonight, so I had to do it early. Did our greatest ally release Moroccans into Spain because they won the World Cup, or was that discussed at Lindsay's fairy funeral? By the way, you are huge in Sweden. Oh, I thought you were flattering. That is flattering in Sweden. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. I don't know about the Moroccans into Spain. Is this something happening today? Spain, Moroccan. I don't know how to spell Moroccan, apparently. Oh, yeah. Spain deploys military after thousands of people breach Morocco's border. Well, you got to float across the water, too. You can't just breach Morocco's border. You're going to breach Spain's border. Unless Spain has a little outpost in Morocco. Maybe they do. Is it possible that the item was flipped out in front of him was possibly an empty soft rifle case? It was certainly of the shape of a rifle when he was moving about. Christ is King indeed. That's possible. Please send a happy birthday to my special needs big 4-year-old Kiki Bird. She's my sunshine. Christ is King. Many blessings. Indeed. Kiki Bird, happy birthday. You're being educated at a very high rate watching this show. You have no idea the value your mother is giving you. Commented on your X post last night talking about today's live with a video of AK saying we paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. Christ is King indeed. I saw that clip. I'm your number one fan in North Miami Beach, Mr. B. I believe you. I had to go there one time. It was a long haul from where we were living. Hey, B, did any of the other possible Fall Guys have a connection to a white forerunner? Maybe picked who, depending on the outcome? Oh, that's a good point. I don't know. I haven't considered that. That's a really good question. Hey, B, am I the only one that thinks Tyler is all a part of the show? He's just another character in the story, in my opinion. We're marching, by the way, matching, I bet you meant to say. By the way, red hoodie gang. Good. I bet you look great in a red hoodie. Do I think Tyler's a part of it? No, I don't. Bavarian, love the show. Please pray for women in DAR who are suffering from trauma caused by trans men who are now members. Christ is King indeed. The Daughters of the American Revolution is taking men? Don't they have the Sons of American Revolution they can join? Do you think the electrocution theory could be some type of modified pacemaker, possibly in the Rode mic, since those can be remotely accessed and used? I've never considered that, but I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I was raised with no faith. After watching you, you brought faith in my life, and I have even started to pray. For that, I wanted to thank you with all my heart. Love from Iceland. Go Max. That's wonderful news. That's why they hate this show. I'm convinced. I had that conversation today with Owen Benjamin. They hate these shows that, Candace, us, a number of other people. I'm not limiting it. I mean, tons of people. But if you read the comments, people are sharing victories. They're improving their lives. They're getting better. They're getting out of debt. They're getting off drugs. They're getting off alcohol. They're going back to church. Like, these are victories that transform people's lives. They don't want your life to be better. They don't want your life to be better. Why did the tomato turn red? Saw the salad dressing. Fair enough. Anyone notice the mispronounced words attack on Candace by Andrew? Not a head for hats, Colvette, are the same as Shapiro's from months ago. I did notice they were the same. Such a low budget attack. I did say Tyler number 3 on the roof was military, a script telling the true story. The foreign Cohen film, the foreign military angle. I'm going to look at this. If we have foreign militaries that teach that crawl to the author of Tyler's text to his furry friend, be the same author as the one who wrote Ouchie's diary. I doubt it.
The principal has announced a time, 6 p.m. God's time.
Oh, good.
Title being An Eyewitness at Timpanogos, a shocking discovery about the medical examiner. ...
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, well, I don't know if this is her show. It might be about the medical examiner's wife. I think she ran in the same circles, some of those people. Did they ever find his wedding ring? If not, metal detect the dug up dirt. Finding it could prove the right dirt and allow it to be tested for explosives. We'd have to know where that dirt went first. Second, I don't know that they ever found it, but I never heard another word about it. And the way they held that stupid necklace out all the time, the way they showed the microphone in an acrylic case, the way they postured under the tent like a bunch of sickos and psychos, you would think the wedding ring would be a massive find. Never mentioned it again. Never heard another word about it from anyone. I'd be regarding the C word. C19 word. My sister feels so vindicated because she insists she had it in 12/20/19. Embarrassing to admit, I ate the Alpo, but I'm awake now, guys. Oh, Max. Yeah, I guarantee you she had that flu they were trying to cover up. Gary may be onto something with the lateral crawl comparison to a baby. The item unfolded just may be a portable baby mat to change diapers on. Yeah, could be. You had $150 million in organization or bank account who would stand more to gain by taking you out. A 4.0 GPA college student or your wife business associates? No, that answer's self-evident. I'm not going to. If a bullet didn't hit, then you must have quit. Oh. It's a good one. Finally became an official jury member after subbing way back in the Google Trends days from Ian. From one mom to another. Tell your wife she's awesome. Oh, she knows. And she's probably watching. She knows. And I agree with you. She's awesome. My B. Have you seen Carrie Quinn X thread on CK cryopreservation theory at Alcor in Arizona? Kind of fills some gaps in the autopsy timeline. I haven't seen her thread in particular, but I've looked into that. I don't buy it for a second unless they're hiding the evidence of a crime for a couple of reasons. One is, in order to properly do the cryopreservation, you have to instantaneously take action. Like, this is for old people who know they're dying, or terminally ill people who know they're dying. And you call the team and they're there when you die. And the second you die, they immediately start dousing you with this cooling stuff, and they get your body temperature down, and then they get you super cold, and then they transport you in a special equipment. You're not going to an autopsy. You're not hanging out at the hospital for hours. That's not how it works. So I don't buy that. A sledgehammer blow sufficient to deform the bullet, government's exhibit, would have been felt on the front of Charlie's neck and had his neck actually stop that bullet, his head never snapped backward. The bullet didn't come from Charlie's neck. I agree with you. The amount of force, people don't understand how much force that is. Bullets arrive with a tremendous amount of force. That force he wouldn't have gone, like, no way. No way. If he was dead on the spot, is it legal to move the body from the crime scene? Well, yeah. I mean, they'd just say they're trying to save his life. And they don't, unless someone's there to declare him dead in the immediate. If Mike exploded or electrocuted, explain neck. If electrocution could be one component of what happened to him, and that would explain his posturing after his neck disintegrated. Cutler looks like Agent Smith from The Matrix. Kinda. I never thought about that, but kinda. Thank you for your amazing work, B. Bless up. Allow it. Stay well and stay block, Pappy. Amen. Thank you. Also, Daisy, peace and love. Your number one fan in Connecticut. That's the only way I know how to spell Connecticut. Just like every time you spell Wednesday, you say Wednesday. Connecticut. That's the only way I can do it. I still can't do Massachusetts because there's no way to say it. But thank you. Very kind of you. The fact that there were so many decoys is sus. Agreed. Baron, you have the stones to discuss the HIV and C19 have never been isolated as a biological entity. PCR is not a test. You're talking about Cox postulates. And the isolation of the virus itself. I've done more work on that issue than I think anyone I know, including bench scientists who've worked in HIV for decades. So yeah, I have the stones to discuss that. Absolutely 100%. I actually purchased HIV, believe it or not, on the open market. I got it from, I want to say, the University of Massachusetts Amherst, maybe. And then we shipped it to an electron microscope lab in Chicago. And we then mixed it with human blood and changed the distances that the microscope could see. And we're able to then look at it under microscope so that we would know at what distance can like electron microscopes work on, I think distance is the way it was described to me. But that way you would know at what distance or what power the electron microscope should be in order to find HIV. Then we took the blood of a guy who had one of the highest viral load counts ever based on PCR. And again, viral load counts, PCR. No, PCR is real technology. Viral load counts is not. That's bunk. But we then took his blood and I think he was like over 900,000 or maybe 1 million, which is one of the highest values I've ever seen on a PCR test. And put it under a microscope, couldn't find a thing. Searched for days, couldn't find a thing. So yeah, I actually have had deep, long conversations with the guy who invented the PCR test, Kerry Mullis. He won a Nobel Prize for that invention. So I've been around the block on the HIV stuff, way around the block. I might talk about it one day. I have HIV manuals on my bookcase back here. Multiple, not one, multiple. Hey, Baron, Northwest Tennessee in the house. Northwest Tennessee up by, what's up there? Illinois? I just finished my 1L year at Ole Miss. I went to TPUSA event with JD Vance. I'd love to intern for you next summer. Christ is King indeed. Minecraft sparkles. I wish I had something to, maybe by next year I will. Reach back out to me in next year. But you really need to intern. If you want to do law full time, you need to intern for a law firm. You learn a lot in your 2L summer if you're interning. My 1L summer, I interned at a Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, and my 2L year, I interned at a law firm. And I learned a lot at both internships, but the internship at the law firm was invaluable. So, yeah, but reach back out. Maybe, I have nothing now. I have no need for an intern right now. None. But I don't know what next year's going to look like. Christ is King indeed, though. I know that. And don't do the 2L letdown. Stay on it. Everybody else will, and your ranking will climb. I'm so grateful for you and Daisy continuing to do such great work. This isn't just entertainment. This investigation is historic. Go Max. Christ is King. Indeed, it is historic. I do believe that. Why is they removed all surveillance from hospital? Nobody knows. No. Now, apparently, the principal, let me look at her thing again. Apparently, she's got an eyewitness from Timpanogos. Boy, she is busting this thing wide open. Let's see here. Let me go get a better gander. There it is. Yeah, we receive an explosive tip about where the clothing of Charlie's security team went after they arrived at the hospital. We ask why Charlie had a file at a different hospital employees were instructed not to touch or open, and where are all of the hospital witnesses? Where do we think the clothing went, guys? Where do we think it went? Oh, let me finish this one here. Why all removed from the surveillance? We don't know. Arrival of the SUV, nothing. Correct. Why is that? I don't know. They're hiding something. I mean, you only remove evidence if you're hiding stuff, right? Is it because they never went there? Maybe. Was he ever taken there? Was the autopsy a fake too? I don't know the answer to any of those questions because they haven't shown us enough from which we can conclude otherwise. Now, where did the clothing go? Did they throw it away? Because that would be pretty telling. Did they throw their clothes away? The security team, the family? I'm assuming he's talking about the security team. Because remember, Frank Turek told us they all got scrubs, which means their clothing all was taken off. I assume they took it with them. Well, I guess we'll find out. I can't wait. Can't do an MRI with suspected metal in his body. Oh, I have metal in my body. Can you do an MRI with it? I know what you're talking about because the magnets suck everything out of you, but that's a good point. That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. My first super chat ever. It worked. Number one fan from Spain sends love for everyone. Oh, buenas tardes. Oh, what are you? Probably buenas noches over there, but now. Yeah, how about that? Spain. Apparently, you're supposed to be afraid of Moroccans right now. They're supposed to be very scary. They don't want you to think about Charlie Kirk. I'll tell you that. You're only supposed to focus on Moroccans. Baron, please do a deep dive on Pastor Tim Remington and Kyle Odom. It makes me believe reptilians are real. Best regards from Gunnar. Gunnar from Iceland. So Gunnar, let me tell you, I actually looked into that not terribly long ago. Daisy and I talked about it the other day. That's a wild story. But I don't know how much of it I buy. So maybe I will talk about it. Maybe I will talk about it. It's a weird story if anyone's ever looked into it. And I actually have a little mini hypothesis. But I'm not going to say it because it would kind of point the finger at somebody, and I'm not ready to do that. I'd have to know a lot more. If the bullet stopped, then his neck absorbed 100% of the kinetic energy of a 30-06. The law of conservation of momentum requires his head to be snapped backwards along the bullet's path. That didn't happen. Basic physics proves he wasn't shot. I tend to agree with you. I think it would have at least knocked him off the chair. Neck looked broken on the way to the SUV, but wasn't broken while he was still holding a mic. Did they break his neck behind the table and remove SIM cards not to show it? I don't know. Baron, I'm piggybacking my first super chat. Shy, I will allow it. From United Healthcare to CK Autopsy, I work in the med field, and it's disheartening that the medical field is losing its integrity. Makes me want to change careers. There are good people still in medicine. The problem is medicine lost its, there used to be a presumption that the doctors were all the good guys. Like when go back to when you were 8. If you got lost, who did you go find? You go find a cop, right? Go find a police officer. He's going to take care of you. You get sick. You go to the doctor. Doctor knows what's right. Doctor's going to take care of you, right? You're going to diagnose you with a condition, give you the right medicine, or just tell you to rest and relax. You're going to be fine. You have a heart attack, go to the doctor. They're going to during the 2019 to 2021 years, they lost that aura. They lost it, and they're still struggling with it. I know a lot of people who don't go to doctors anymore at all. You know, I don't. I'm not telling people to go or not go. I'm just stating what I see. I'm an RN. The injuries listed on the report don't make any sense at all for a gunshot wound. My jaw literally dropped when I was reading that report. I don't think they do either. Andrew W. called Candace to debate on X. I said he's known for his aggressive style of sophistry. Goal is not truth. It's to walk Candace into lawsuits. I was trashed by him and crew. I got a lot of support by high IQ crew. I don't know what his motive is, but I just know that, you know, if, for example, if you said, hey, Andrew, you know, we're only going to debate the Charlie Kirk death. We're only going to talk about whether or not Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. After watching the Stu Peters debate, he doesn't want to have any part of that. Charlie exhibited decorticate posturing. That means a high brain injury above C6. Blood from neck was non-pulsatile. His heart stopped before neck wound opened and drained residual vascular pressure. Go back and watch my whole segment about the neck. About the neck. But Baron, sure, like your neck can't, your head can't communicate decorticate posturing to the body due to an intense brain injury if you don't have a neck. If you've been decapitated, if your neck can't communicate because your spinal cord is traumatically absent, then a brain injury cannot cause decorticate posturing. It's impossible. That was my whole segment. Maybe I didn't make it clear enough. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm getting mad at myself for not communicating clearly. But Baron sure sounds like they don't know, but they know he was assembling the rifle behind the railing in that blurry video. Yeah, that's what they tell us. I just started watching, but did you guys hear Tucker talking about how Fauci had a serious side effect after getting the vaccine? Also, if you heard about the microdust, what are your thoughts? I don't know what you're talking about with microdust. Yeah, apparently Fauci had a PE at some point, and I don't know whether he blamed the vaccine, but it was in his series of 200 boosters or whatever. Baron catching up on episode. Still dealing with the aftermath of husband's cheating. Please continue to pray for me and my daughters. Been rough for us. Hope all is well with you. Christ is king indeed. Thank you, Steph. I will certainly pray for you. Oh no, is Tyler Robinson modeling the bad cop hat? No. I kid. Oh, I love you, B. Love you more. Love you more. No, that's not Tyler Robinson. Daisy's voice is so darling, and now she knows she's 5 feet tall. She's even more adorable. I love the show. She's diminutive. You're diminutive, Daisy.
I was about to Google what that meant.
It means short. It means short. That's okay, though. That's okay. I had no idea. That's the first I've heard. I don't know what I pictured or how tall I thought she was. Normal height, I guess. I guess 5 foot's kind of normal. I guess a woman like 5 foot to 5'9" is pretty normal.
Okay, normal height. Thank you.
I mean, I figured you were normal. I didn't think you were like 6'3".
What was that, like 5'4", maybe?
Well, I was saying like anything from like 5 foot to 5'9", I consider pretty normal.
Okay, 5'9's a bit.
Well,
I guess.
5 foot's a bit.
I'll allow it.
There you go. Diminutive. Baron, I'm late. Just wanted to say your Kiwi accent wasn't that bad. Slux as? I don't know what slux means. Christ is king indeed. Not bad at all. Baron is the best laugh. Do I really? Christ is king indeed. Now you're going to make me self-conscious. I'm going to be self-conscious every time I laugh. Please make a Go Watch Beaches long sleeve tee. Yeah, we need one of those, actually. We actually need Go Watch Beaches merch. Yeah. I don't even remember why I said that. Baron, there's my laugh. Now I'm self-conscious. Great. Can't ever laugh again. Baron, anyone else notice how yellow CK's hands were? Yellow concealer covers purple, bruising, etc. Just an observation. Christ is king indeed. He was also dead. That might yellow the skin a little bit. Look at the rooftop. Not in the right area. No, he is. I'm pretty sure he is. Doesn't Zin's presence destroy the lone shooter narrative on its face? Yeah, I think so. Humans, not chickens, but what about chicken head cut off? Body flaps around for a second due to residual electrical impulses. Yeah, we're not chickens. We did a whole revolution in France where they cut the heads off everybody who moved. Nobody got up and ran away. Everybody just laid there limp. No firsthand reports from late 18th century France of the royal family taking off and boot scooting. No moonwalking. No moonwalking. CK stated that the majority of his team was whom? This was Utah. Charlie Kirk was walking away from the cause, which meant the money, and a lot of religious groups and organizations worship money, power, and control over God. That isn't hard to figure out. Yeah. I get it. Hi, Baron. Hi, Cavallo's mom. In my opinion, they were silicone hands on CK. I've never seen hands on a body that were not on top of each other, crossed over the abdomen, and fingers closed, not spread open like they were. Christ is king indeed. I think it was just fast. I think it was too fast. I don't think they had an opportunity to prepare the body exactly correctly. And keep in mind, they were going to have to take that suit back off because that was not Charlie's suit. It was not going to Arizona with him, I can assure you. And so you might not want to glue the hands together in that situation. Keep in mind, you have no muscle tone. Like you're limp. You're flaccid. So to get the hands to stay up there, that's super glue, buddy. That's not peace. And so, I get it. I get it. I understand all the questions. I have my own questions, but the reason I think they were real hands is they had damage. The left hand is clearly damaged, has multiple marks on it. And Daily Fredo Cassia has extra video of the shooter. He exits the stairs, ducks down for 5 to 7 minutes before he runs into position. That's what they mean, assembling the weapon. You still can't see his face or features or the gun. She has all that footage? Is that true, Daisy? Does she have that? 5 to 7 minutes of footage nobody else has on Earth? How did she get it?
I didn't know that.
Well, she was in our chat.
Are you here? I'll go look.
Yeah,
Go
see if we can find it, because I don't believe that.
Cassia, make yourself known.
Yeah, if you're here, Cassia, text me. Actually, you can't. Man, I got 245 missed texts since being on the air. You see what you guys do? No, I'm just kidding. You know how long it takes me to check text after I get off the air? We'll check that out. Good info. Good info. Double check if his involuntary actions after the shot are inconsistent with severed cord. You must be late. Because I did a whole show on it. When you smack the end of a tube of marbles, the top one explodes off. You think Charlie's chair had a charge which transferred upward to his head? I think now you're getting closer to where I'm headed. Not sure if this is a comment you've received, but when TR says my B, do you think it's possible he means my bad, as in my mistake? New member of the jury. Yes, I'm just kidding. Yes, I covered that in depth. That's an inside joke. Yeah, he certainly meant my bad, but we changed it to my B because it sounds better. It's more fun. Way more fun. For Daisy's HVAC fun, stay cool, girl. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, she had to go get a window unit. Thanks for your knowledge. Blessings from Canada. Oh, Canuck Bucks. The force that deformed the bullet had to push the head backward. For every action, there's a ... His head didn't snap back. Physics proves that a bullet didn't come from Charlie's neck. I agree with you. BC, been a fan for a while. Thank you. I've been thinking a lot about all the scenarios. I feel like writing the next great science fiction novel. Revenge of the... We are the last with understanding. The Revenge of the Nerds? Are you calling us nerds? Probably some truth to that. Blake Sneff is lurking in these comments on a burner, trying to sound casual while secretly hoping for a live shout out. The hate watch to a fan pipeline is real. That's true. The hate watch to fan pipeline is absolutely real. Let's see here. I haven't seen any Asian mega shrew comments. So and we don't have a lot of like racist banter in the chat. So I'm assuming Blake Neff isn't here, but I don't know. Love the matinee an hour later than you. It works so much better. Would love more of these. I think we could work in a few here and there. I don't want to switch to an afternoon show. I like the evening show. It gives me time to prepare. Life is Driving on YouTube has a video of the CK event. Slow to 40%. You see drones at 1904, 1940. Top middle of screen again at 1951. Very fast. Yeah. You know what else is fast? Bugs. Bugs are fast. Bugs are very fast. I have heard the drone argument. I have watched the Life is Driving video. I have a downloaded copy of it in case he ever gets a burr up his butt and decides to delete it. But I will tell you that I have not seen evidence of a drone. I see people who see evidence of drones. They've never been able to convince me. Can charges come with the FBI hiding evidence and framing TR? Of course, if they could prove it. CK dialed 911, phone detected accident. You stated that as fact, and we don't know that. Mabi, an expert on HIV. Wow. Ever read The Poison Needle? Pressed facts about vaccination, 1957 outs and the 1918 frauds and polio poisoning. I've not read that. Helen called the principal. We called out. We wanted Helen. Helen finally showed up. Helen. I'm glad she called. I wonder if she's still got her curlers in and her bunny slippers. Man, we've needed Helen. We're going to hear from Helen tonight, guys. Great episode. Thanks for all you do. Number one fan in Gleason, Tennessee. I don't even know where that is. Aaron Hernandez was convicted almost completely based on his home security footage. That's correct. He's an idiot. Well, was an idiot. Thank you all. Thank you for all you and Daisy do. Prayers for all who continue to seek God's truth. John 10:10. Christ is King. Love you all. John 10:10. I've come that you might have life and have it to the full. Yes. If the 30-06 is omitted, Tyler Robinson must be acquitted. Ooh, I like that O.J. Simpson limerick. You had me at paralyzed desk. Well. Apparently, goat water isn't huge in upstate New York. Found it for $1.50 a bottle. Christ is King indeed. I need to move. I'm in the wrong place. It's huge here. It's huge. See this, Baron, regarding viruses. Search on Rumble. Truth about big virus hoax with doctors Tom Cowan, Andrew Kaufman, and Mike Adams. I think I know Andrew Kaufman. Hold on. Hold on. No, I don't know him. It sounds like it close to a name I know. I know who I'm thinking of. Not sure if this has been discussed, but did Tyler not have a gunshot residue test done? Also Baron for president. I don't know if he did or not. I've not seen evidence he did. As noted in an older show, the VP flying to Utah was an unnecessary risk. Seems odd. He was cleared to land 40 miles from Assassin's last known location before anyone was in custody. That's a really good point. Salient, as they say. A salient point. Lolo. If that is that might actually be your real name. Lazarus Love, thank you. Very kind. Tucker talked about microdust. Go watch Scary. No, I will. I don't know that I want to be scared. I don't need to know that I need one more thing to be paranoid about, but okay. If you stifle the rifle, you must mistrial. No, we don't want a mistrial. We want an acquittal or a dismissal. The mistrial, they can do it again. This crowdsourcing is the only true investigation. I trusted the system after 34 years in state law enforcement, working with great and ethical pros. And I'm sure you did. I'm sure you worked with a bunch of them. It's now sadly obvious that our entire federal government is fully compromised, likely by that place. Christ is King indeed. It's unfortunate. About to start the episode. The Flash looks like it's the second white car that enters from the right. Actually, a cop car that puts lights on. You can track the strobing lights. Roger that. I'm 4'11". Stay compact, Daisy. Compact. Diminutive. Eensy beensy. Baron, I 100% agree with you on Fauci. I too had the flu in 2020 for 3 weeks. It was awful. Love you. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, it's bad news bears, man. Daisy, I'm only 4'10", smaller than the average 10-year-old, and I will be 63 in 4 days. Getting shorter as I go. I heard that's a thing. Charlie Kirk was most likely fighting against the people in the SUV from the tackle to the hospital. I'd question the ride there. Maybe, but if that injury that they described came from the scene of the crime, he wasn't fighting anybody. But if it didn't, then maybe. What the way are you on before the Queen? Oh, why am I on before the Queen? Go back to the beginning. I explained it. Bloody heck. Love your brain. Go back. Love from Scandinavia. Be the way. Is Daisy single? She is not. She is happily married. I forgot to mention I'm 4'10" and my husband is 6'5". How does that work? How do you kiss? You got to bend over? For Daisy's, I'll allow it. I LOL'd so hard. 5 foot here too, Daisy. Knew I loved you. Enjoy a goat water. You get a goat water, Daisy. Maybe they hope for acquittal of TR because relieves TPUSA of continuing charade of lies, but can blame him for the murder forever. Prayers for you, your family. Christ is king indeed. Thank you for the prayers. Yeah, I mean, that's a theory, and I've heard people put it forward. VFT showed that roofline has no line of sight to CK. Go back and we talked about that. I disagree with that. Is anyone following the amazing Mikey McCoy family? I haven't heard anything from them lately. Big Polish fan from Iceland. Actually, you didn't capitalize the P. So are you a big polish fan? You love polish? Nail polish, wood polish, loves polish, brass polish. Brass polish. All right, I cracked myself up on that one. Sorry. Baron, did you say the judge lets Tyler go with no trial? Then he can rule to look into charging someone else? Well, yeah. If Tyler, I mean, they could charge someone else right now. They don't have to wait on Tyler to get cut free. Email rooftop video subject. I sent screenshot with arrows. I promise I'm not a Fed slapper. Cross my heart. If it's not a 42-inch Mauser, you are. Mm-hmm. RN, I worked the October 1 shooting in Vegas in the ER. I saw all the gunshot wounds. Charlie Kirk wasn't shot. I hope you read my name out. Roll Tide. Christ is king indeed. I'll allow it. But that's the last time you're going to hear it. Despite the lies and inconsistencies with the narrative, my issue is how adamant TPUSA and company is. Tyler's guilty and must be brought to justice. Innocent until proven guilty means nothing to these people. Yeah, it's how adamant they are. It's really unbecoming. Sorry, off topic. Where can we find details on your HIV/AIDS work? Are you familiar with Dr. Mary's monkeys, SIV40, and contaminants and early polio vax predicted for cancer explosion years later? I am familiar with Mary's monkeys, and I'm familiar with the SIV40. I don't know that there's details on my HIV work out there. I mean, I just did a lot of legal cases. Man, for like 4 or 5 years, that's all I did. And I deposed and cross-examined the best experts in the country on the issue of HIV. We tried cases. We put the facts to the test. We had, we had some victories. We had some losses, but that's the way criminal trial defense goes. But yeah, I don't know that there's like a repository somewhere about it. So, Jesus loves you. That's a good one to end on. Thank you, Ed Franks. Guys, we got to get out of here. The principal's coming on in 25 minutes. We have to take a comfort break. A comfort break. We're not going to say any more than that. Take a little comfort break. Get comfortable. Stretch your legs. Maybe get a little bite to eat. A glass of goat water. Step outside. Water the begonias, and then right back in for the principal. 6 p.m. sharp. God's time. God's time. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do subscribe, all that good stuff. It all helps. Share it with friends and family. Go subscribe to the Clips channel. The time opening is up today. People loved it. And it's there. It was our most requested clip in history, and it's there. So if you enjoyed that, go get it. And then you can share it in clip form with other people. In the meantime, don't forget, not that you would, not that you want to, but don't. Jesus loves you. Guys, have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys in all likelihood Sunday night. There's an outside small chance I might be on tomorrow, but it's small. Probably Sunday. See you guys then.